7 national championships, nearly $5 million in purse earned, and one of the largest and most supportive groups in motorsports are Petty fans. Today, Richard Petty reaches another milestone, his 900th career start in Old 43. Live on WTBS, the Superstation, from the Richmond Fairgrounds, Richmond, Virginia, the Richmond 400, with Richard Petty from the 10th position, trying to get back on the winning side of the ledger.
Richard, you were feeling very badly on the eve of your 900th race. You're qualified 10th. What are the chances that you're going to be able to win victory 196 here today?
Well, I don't know. Right now, nobody's won the race, so our chance is as good as anybody. I'd like to start it a little further up front, but we've got 400 laps. If we run good enough, we can catch up.
How you feeling?
Well, I feel good today. It was just cold and miserable yesterday, but I think I rested a little bit yesterday. I'm feeling fine right now.
From the Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway, Superstation WTBS and Motor Week Productions present exclusive live coverage of the Richmond 400. Brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth, engineered for luxury, quality, and value. Chrysler Plymouth. And by the makers of Skoal and Copenhagen, for real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. A pinch is all it takes.
1 week ago, backstretch, Daytona International Speedway, in one of the most brilliantly executed races in his career. The Timmonsville Terror, Cale Yarborough, scoots to the inside, takes the lead, and comes out of turn number 4 with 3 men trying to shoot them down. But at the line, Cale Yarborough held them off to win the 1983 25th Annual Daytona 500. It is our great pleasure to welcome Cale Yarborough to Superstation today. Cale, a whole lot different position today from 1 week ago.
Well, it really is, Ken, but it's been a good week for me, and I'm anxious to get back into racing. And right here, working this race today is really going to be a treat. I think we got a real good race coming up.
Two-time winner of this event, 1977, 1979, Cale Yarborough. What's it take to 1.5 mile as compared to a super speedway?
Well, this racetrack is a unique racetrack. It's only a half a mile in length. It's a very, very narrow racetrack. It gets slick during the day, and you got to have a car that works good for you all day here. And it's a racetrack that you probably have to change your chassis several times during the day, and even change your lines on the racetrack. So it's a racetrack. To win here, you got to work at it.
Well, thank you, Cale. I'm Ken Squire, working with us down in the pits today, standing right alongside the man on the pole for the 2nd straight week. Here's Dave Despain with Ricky Rudd.
Qualifying speed is 100 miles an hour slower here at the Richmond than it was at Daytona, but the face on the pole is the same. Ricky Rudd, 13 times the pole sitter, has won this race. What are the chances this will be your first Grand National victory here today?
Well, Dave, I feel like our chances are going to be good on a short track, the place to be out front, and I just hope I'm going to try the best I can to keep this Piedmont Chevrolet out front of this pack, and I'm going to have my hands cut out for them, there's no doubt about it.
On the pole, Ricky Rudd, back to you, Ken Squire.
Outside of the front row is the great Upland, California campaigner, and standing by is the well-known motorsports journalist Joe Whitlock with Joe Ruttman.
Joe Ruttman, excellent run last week in the Daytona 500. Today it's back to short track grassroots racing where you're supposed to be a real highly regarded competitor. What do you think your chances are for your first Winston Cup win?
Well, I'd love to have it to come right here at Richmond. We've run extremely well, and it's a shame that maybe Cale isn't down here with me to give me the encouragement to run on that last lap with him. But I'd like to say get this opportunity to say hi to my wife, Harpo, and the girls, and tell them that Dad's going to do the best he can in the race.
Okay, Ken, that's Joe Ruttman.
Starting in the 3rd position today is Terry Labonte in car number 44, and Dave Despain is standing by with him.
A brilliant drive last week in the 500 from 41st starting spot to 6th finishing spot. Terry Labonte, it's got to be a lot better to start 3rd. What's the strategy?
Yeah, it is a lot better, and at least we don't have to pass near as many cars this week.
How are you going to go approach this race? Are you going to go right after the leaders?
Well, I don't know. I think, just wait and see what everything, after everybody gets all settled down and see how the car's working and just see what we can do.
Terry Labonte starts 3rd. Ken?
One of the key stories in this race, 1 week ago, defending 2-time national champion, number 11, Darrell Waltrip, out of control in turn number 4. Loses control 190 miles an hour, slams the wall directly in front of Cale Yarborough, just missing. Darrell Waltrip in the hospital for the first time in his racing career. He said he was okay, but the next morning he didn't remember anything about it at all. Darrell Waltrip has cinched up the seatbelt. He's ready to go. Let's get a word from him now.
A horrible crash in Daytona. I got to ask you the obvious question. How do you feel, and do you think you can make it all the way today?
Well, I feel like I can. You know, if somebody falls out of the race, we're definitely going to have them standing by. But I'd like to tell my dad happy 60th birthday today, and that I wish they were here with me.
Thank you. Good luck, Darrell. Back to you, Ken.
We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineup for the Richmond 400 live on the Superstation WTBS after the grounds. Ray Melton is giving the command to start this race, race number 2 in the Winston Cup Tour. Long-time voices for over 30 years. He's given the command, and he fires them up for race number 2 on the $9 million Grand National Tour of NASCAR, race number 2, race number 1, the great Daytona 500, which my colleague today, Cale Yarborough, drove so beautifully a year ago. You've won here twice in this race. The weather today is in the 40s. Yesterday for the sportsman race in which Sam Ard came home the victory, very cold. The tires were like hockey pucks. Temperatures mid-40s today, Cale. What's that going to do to the cars?
Ken, I think it's ideal racing weather. This racetrack has a tendency to get awful slick during the race, and I think the cool weather is going to have make for a real good race.
$200,000 at stake today, some different than a few years ago when they ran the half miles. Let's take a look at the competitors who will be fighting to take the lion's share of this $200,000 purse in our live Superstation WTBS coverage today. Let's take a look at row number 1. It'll be Ricky Rudd, as he was a week ago at Daytona, on the pole. Upland, California's Joe Ruttman starts outside of the front row. Ruttman still looking for that first victory on the Winston Cup Tour. Going to row number 2, from Corpus Christi, Texas, Terry Labonte. And beside him, the story, that's Darrell Waltrip, injured a week ago. Can he make it back? He's won here on 2 previous occasions. In row 3, from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, the great Northeasterner Ron Bouchard, and the leader of the Alabama gang, number 22, Bobby Allison, set to fight. In row number 4, Jeff Bodine, another campaigner out of the Northeast, Rookie of the Year last year, and beside him, the 1980 Grand National Champion, Dale Earnhardt. Going to row 5, from New Albany, Indiana, former ASA champion Mark Martin, and the story of this race, Richard Petty, making his 900th career start, looking for his 196th victory. There you see old 43 right under the flag stand as they get set for the start. Petty is on a losing streak. He's lost 42 in a row, but he's still trying to reach the magic mark of 200 victories in a career. And now let's review the rest of this starting field as the engines have come to life. They'll send them out for 3 or 4 laps before they will turn them loose today, give them a full chance to warm up. Row number 6 is Mississippi's Lake Speed and the Bandit in the Hal Needham car, Harry Gant. Going to row number 7. On the inside is Neil Bonnet, the Renegade. What a great job he did at Dave Dion. And New Hampshire's Dave Dion has qualified well beside Neil Bonnet. Then comes Jimmy Sauter and Dave Marcus. In row 9, California's Richard Brooks and Bill Elliott. Buddy Baker is in row 10. The Wood brothers are here, and Ronnie Thomas is qualified well. Butch Lindley and Slick Johnson, row 11. Row 12 is Tommy Ellis. He knows his track well, and Morgan Shepherd. In row 13, Sterling Marlin and Joe Fields, a Richmond, Virginia driver. Jimmy Means and Tim Richmond, row 14. Row 15, McDuffie and Tommy Gale. In row 16, what a story there. Kyle Petty crashing in practice yesterday, had to put it all back together and came in using up one of his reserve positions. Each of those Grand National drivers allowed 2 starts if they fail to qualify in the additional year. They must select the races. And Kyle Petty had a bad day, tore the car all up, and they had a rent-a-racer. There you see car number 7, Kyle Petty, and they took parts off a rent-a-racer car, off a rent-a-car. It is now a rent-a-racer, and I am sure that the Hertz, Avis, or National, we won't say which one, are going to be greatly surprised if they win this race. But the whole front end is off a rent-a-car.
Wouldn't you think today the rates would be a little higher today, Ken, than usual on the rent-a-car?
Do you ever remember in the old days when they used to bring in cars, just rent-a-cars and run them?
I sure do. I can remember that very well.
Did you ever do it?
No, I didn't.
Kyle Petty, car number 7. Remember, he won his first race on a super speedway at Daytona 1979, the ARCA 200, but he has failed to score yet in Grand National competition. But that's not unusual, Cale. It takes a few years against the kind of competition we have here today.
Well, it really does. You have the best competition in the world here in Grand National Racing, and I don't care who it is or where they come from. It takes a little while to get accustomed to this type of racing.
Most competitive automobile racing in the world, 60 official lead changes in last week's race, and that doesn't count the number of times you guys would squander the lead, give it away to somebody, then take it back as you try to work those cars around and set each other up for the finish. Just amazing. 2 laps to go. There's the pole sitter, Ricky Rudd, the Richard Childress car. Why are they qualifying so well, Cale? They've been running just beautifully.
Well, they got a good race car, and of course Rick is a real good driver, and he's doing a good job at it.
One car in the pits right now is car number 7. Kyle Petty is having a problem, and he is on pit road. In fact, there you see the car just coming back out again. Remember, he is in the last row with Buddy Arrington. He's driving a Dodge today. I think it's the only Chrysler that qualified. Cecil Gordon brought a Chrysler to the race. That did not qualify. Ricky Rudd up in front, Joe Ruttman beside him. I would say in experience and in strength, you'd give it to Ruttman, the 36-year-old from California. But this Ricky Rudd, he's appearing before hometown fans. His following starts in Chesapeake, Virginia, where his dad owned a salvage yard, where he had his first race cars built, and there are thousands in this capacity house who are here to see him try and win it for the state of Virginia today. Live Superstation WTBS coverage as you look at some of the throng gathered on a brisk, cool, gorgeous day as we get down. Cale Yarborough, what about it? If you were in the start of this race, where would you want to go at the beginning? Just hold for a while, or do you want to charge?
Well, it's if you're up front, you need to get in the lead if you can possibly get there early. And I see Kyle coming back out again. He had to make another stop. Something must be wrong with his car there. But I think Ricky Rudd, everybody on the inside, Ken, has got a better chance of holding their positions than the ones on the outside. The inside groove of this racetrack is where you need to be on the start.
So you're going to see them fight to get down to the bottom of the racetrack?
Right, absolutely. You're going to have to find a hole to get in.
Pace car is in. We're set for 400 laps of the most competitive automobile racing in the world as the NASCAR Grand National Tour tees off for race number 2 on the half mile at the Richmond State Fairgrounds, Richmond, Virginia. In turn number 1, wheel to wheel, and popping out in front goes Ricky Rudd. Into second goes California's Joe Ruttman. Waltrip slid through, took third. Terry Labonte drops to fourth. As they hit turn number 3, Ron Bouchard on the inside slides his way up through for 5th position. 1 lap complete, 399 to go. That'll really wear you down, Cale.
It really will, Ken. This is, as I said before, a real narrow racetrack, and you really, it takes a lot of concentration to run this racetrack. You really get in trouble quick.
A lot of punching, a lot of banging and thrashing out there, and one of the experts is our co-host today. His kind of racetrack, but he's running the limited schedule these days. Lap number 2 complete, and they're hitched up in a train. It is Ricky Rudd in front in the 2nd spot. Ruttman, 3rd, Waltrip in the 11th. Then the red, number 44 of Terry Labonte, the Texan, going in 5th. His car number 47, Ron Bouchard. And then in the 6th position is car number 22, Bobby Allison, trying to go through. There you see car number 7 fighting his way up through traffic. Moving in on James Hilton. That is Kyle Petty trying to get underneath J.D. McDuffie. McDuffie takes him on the outside. Now here comes Kyle back on the inside. He gets underneath McDuffie. McDuffie moves back around him. What a scramble, and backing off a little is 41. That is Ronnie Thomas out of Christiansburg, Virginia. Down to the inside comes number 7, Kyle Petty, picking up another spot. Kyle Petty getting underneath Slick Johnson that time. Still working his way through traffic from dead up on the end of the field. Back to the leaders another time, and here they come in a bundle. Ricky Rudd in first. In 2nd, Ruttman. 3rd, Waltrip. 4th, Labonte, and number 47, Ron Bouchard, the Fitchburg, Massachusetts driver, is working hard in 5th. Mark Martin is trying to get underneath number 88 as they come down through turns 3 and 4. Main straightaway. 5th spot, Bouchard. 6th, Allison. 7th, Dale Earnhardt. Going 8th, Jeff Bodine with those green and white colors of the Stokely camp. Richard Petty runs on the tail end of that batch as he tries to wait him out a little. I don't think Richard will make a move any too early today, Cale.
I don't think he will, Ken. You know, Richard's been a little under the weather, too. I think he's just going to kind of ride there for a while, see what it looks like. But I see a little bit of fender rubbing going on already out there. In this place, you cannot run it without leaning on somebody or a little bit of fender banging. It's just that close, and it's a one-groove racetrack, and it just takes some of that to get around here.
Remember, it's only a half mile, just a tad bigger than a half mile, and they hit over 90 miles per hour as they come down the straightaways, and they use up a ton of brakes out here.
Well, they sure do. You have to be real careful the first half of the race, not to run up your brakes, and so you won't have any of the second part. So it's a thinking man's racetrack.
Coming around, completing 9 laps, and Ricky Rudd and Joe Ruttman draw away by about 12 car lengths over Waltrip in that 3rd position. Labonte maintaining 4th. Bouchard in 5th, banging on the rear bumper of Terry Labonte. Then behind them comes Bobby Allison. Now battle up in front, trying to work a little on the outside as we watch number 7 just getting by McDuffie. J.D. McDuffie getting passed by Kyle Petty as he's picked up 6 cars since the start. Kyle Petty looking for some more running room and some more cars to knock down, and he's got a lot of running to do. Up in front, there's the battle, and it's 98. Ruttman trying the outside. Unbelievable move, Cale.
That is a real tough move on this racetrack, and looks like he's going to pull it off.
Joe Ruttman from California, rim riding in turns 1 and 2. And they paced each other a little as they hit the middle of 1. Out of 2, Rudd leans on Ruttman. Back they come, still side by side. Down they go. Richard Petty getting hung up on a car for just a moment on Dale Earnhardt's car, but gets away and keeps fighting his way around. It is Ruttman going out in front.
I tell you, you got to have a car that's really working to be able to make an outside pass here.
Well, the Buddy Parrott prepared car number 98. He has never won a Grand National race, but in short track racing, he is incredible. Joe Ruttman really has it hitched up, made a magnificent run at Daytona. I thought he might get a shot at you at the finish. He was right there looking for you, Cale.
Well, he was right behind me when I made my move on Buddy Baker and went with me, but I got him racing in between turns 3 and 4, and that was pretty much the end of that.
Lapping James Hilden's car number 48 as they went down the backstretch. And now Waltrip begins to move up. Waltrip last week climbed out of his car and said, "Tell my wife I'm okay," but the next day he never remembered it.
Yeah, I understand. You know, I saw Walter's helmet this morning, and that thing had a big crack in it, so I'm sure he took quite a lick, and he's very fortunate to be able to be here racing today.
Well, here's Kyle Petty still fighting his way up through. Down the back straightaway, Kyle Petty working his way to the back of the pack. Richard Petty is being attacked by Harry Gant right now. Now look at Kyle getting down to the bottom and trying to come through. The Pettys have won 13 times in Richmond, and that is the car of Jim Sauter from Wisconsin that was just passed by number 7. He didn't want to give up. He comes right back. Now Kyle has come from 30th up to 22nd. That is the 22nd place that you now see him in as he picked off 8 cars. We're trying to give you a look at some of the outback competition as well as what's going on up front. And this car seemed to be far better than its qualifying mark, as it did not qualify. And Kyle Petty had to use up one of his provisional starters for this race. They are allowed 2 provisional starts if they're up well in the points the previous year. And one of them, early in the season, is utilized by Petty Kyle to get himself in this event. Now there's 98, Ruttman, and he seems to slide that car as he comes off turn 4. Just kick the back end out. Battle coming up for second place. There you see it. It is number 3, Ricky Rudd, and Waltrip. Doesn't look like he's lost a stitch even after that crash a week ago, Cale.
Yeah, he looks real strong, Ken. He's putting the pressure on Ricky Rudd right now.
You are watching the battle for second place live here on the Superstation WTBS between the most competitive racers in the world down in turn number 1 on the old-fashioned Roots Racing Fairgrounds, the Richmond Fairgrounds, where they've been racing now for some 40 years. It used to be dirt. In those days, Ned Jarrett, Buck Baker, Lee Petty, and there was some kid always in here they had to throw out of it every 2 or 3 races because he was too young, named Cale Yarborough.
I was right here, Ken, back in the dirt days.
And up in front, that car number 98 begins to get a bit of an advantage. You can see the interval between the first place car, number 98 right there, and the second place car, Ricky Rudd, about 20 car lengths. A lead here early in the race, does it mean much, or does it mean, what does it mean?
It doesn't mean a whole lot right now, Ken. I have seen cars here that ran real strong the first part of the race. I've done it myself, and then as the racetrack changes, the car goes away.
Well, they've completed 12 laps now. Or rather, correction, 22 laps, 378 to go. Behind that battle up in front, Labonte is in 4th, Earnhardt is in 5th, Bobby Allison is in 6th, Ron Bouchard is 7th, Bodine is 8th, Mark Martin is in 9th.
Trouble. Got Lake Speed and Neil Bonnet having a little trouble down in turn 3.
Long way to go. Drivers from 16 states. There's car number 2, Mark Martin, making a move on Jeff Bodine. Now what a battle that one is. That's the battle for 8th position. And on the inside, that is Mark Martin down low, has the spot. Here comes Richard Petty. Petty on the bottom of the racetrack, does not get through. Mark Martin picking up a spot. And he drops Jeff Bodine back 1. Martin going into 8th, Bodine into 9th. Here comes Petty. Right behind him is number 33, Harry Gant. That's what's exciting about this half-mile racing. It keeps the action contained out here, Kyle, or Brother Cale.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and it doesn't get away from you. Everybody here has got a good seat in the house, and they see exactly what's going on. And it's short track racing is very exciting.
Coming up on 25 laps complete this next time by. Petty has been held out of the 10th position since the start. He's never too eager to make moves early on. Those tires really get worked in. If the traffic kind of settle into a pattern, then he'll go for them. There you see that group. There's Richard Petty. There's your leader again, number 98. That is Joe Rutland, former United States Auto Club champion, as we mentioned last week. The Daytona 500 champion. There's still one title he wants more than anything in the world. His brother won in Indianapolis. He wants to make his name known in the stock cars. He really had his heart set on beating Cale Yarborough to the line, but we weren't going to have any part of that.
I tell you, he's really running strong here today, though, Ken. If he continues to run like this all day, he just might win his first Grand National race.
Moving toward the 30-lap mark here in the Richmond 400. Joe Rutman out in front. In the 2nd position, Ricky Rudd going 3rd, Darrell Waltrip 4th, Dale Earnhardt 5th, Terry Labonte, Bobby Allison is 6th, Ron Bouchard is 7th, and Mark Martin is running in the 8th position. And will return to more of the action of the Richmond 400 on the Superstation after the 33 laps complete. 367 remaining of the Richmond 400. Up in front is Joe Rutland in car number 98. But the battle that everyone is talking about right now is for 2nd place, and it is a struggle that's going on. Here is Darrell Waltrip making a move in number 11, trying to go beneath Ricky Rudd out of turn number 2. Did not make it. Here he comes again. Twice Waltrip has tried. Here comes Waltrip on the inside. Running wheel to wheel out of turn number 4. Waltrip on the low side. It is Rudd on the high side. And they've got a problem up in turn number 2. One car spinning, but they keep going. Yellow is out. Number 29, Dave Dion, spun in the 2nd turn as the battle was being waged for 2nd place. Dion spinning his Ford, which comes out of Hudson, New Hampshire. And Dynamite Dave is coming down the track quickly through the pits. He'll take a lap to stay up, then probably pit. Smart move by Dion. He qualified well here up in the front row about 2 years ago. Cale Yarborough. As we watch that begin to unravel between the Waltrip car, the yellow number 11, and Ricky Rudd in number 3, it appeared that Ricky Rudd was just giving up the inside. That car is not working that well.
Well, it did. It looked like Ricky was going a little high going into the corner. Darrell was taking advantage of that, getting Earnhardt going into the corners, but Dale Earnhardt had started to come up, and he was really putting the move on both of them, it looked like.
Number three in the pits, the leader, 47 is in, Bouchard, Allison is in. All the leaders coming in and changing some rubber out here. Boy, tires are really the issue in a race like this.
There's no doubt about it. If your tires go away, there's no way you can drive on a racetrack like this.
Here you see Richard Petty, and already you can see the side of his car is scarred from that close competition. There's Buddy Baker coming out, who doesn't run that much on the half mile, but the car that you followed for so long and set him up, he said if I'd have gone 300 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour, Cale would have stayed behind me.
Well, he was exactly right, Ken.
Let's go to Dave Despay.
road, the typical flurry of activity with the yellow flag. Most of the front-running cars have been in. The lead automobile of Joe Ruttman not yet on pit road. His crew waiting for him here. Terry Labonte has just come in. It's a real traffic jam on pit road, and that's part of the reason Ruttman elected to stay out one more lap. He wants the pits to clear out, and then the Ruttman car will be in. Back to you, Ken.
Richard Petty has come back on pit road. Neil Bonnet is there. Bill Elliott, Buddy Baker in for the other side tires. Tim Richmond has come in. Jim Sauter, as they go all the way on rubber. You don't want to get trapped in the pits and go a lap down.
No, you don't. I really don't understand why Ruttman didn't stop then. They've run enough laps that he should stop and take on fuel and tires. It's just, he said that the pit road was too crowded, but if I'd have been him, I'd have made that stop.
Well, now this will change the entire wholesale change of those front positions. Well, let's see here.
He can't hardly afford to come in now, Ken. It would put him too far behind to work his way all the way back up.
So he's not going to use, Joe Ruttman, the leader on car number 98, will not use this first caution, which came out at lap number 37 when Dave Dion spun in turn number 2. He was able to continue and appeared as if there wasn't very much damage to the car. Real change of positions, but leave number 98 up in front. Give the second spot to Darrell Waltrip. Move to third, last year's winner, Dave Marcus. Harry Gant for fourth and Mark Marcus for fifth. Unofficial, you understand.
Got one lap to go.
So it's a big gamble for the Buddy Parrott crew, car number 98. Let's go back to Dave Despain.
We're with Buddy Parrott in the Joe Ruttman pits. Buddy, why did you not make a stop?
Well, in this game, you know, you know when to hold them, when to fold them. We had planned our strategy not to pit early because we feel like there's going to be a lot of cautions. You can run 160 laps on the gas, and you know, Darrell and them didn't pit, and you know, maybe we're a trendsetter today.
All right, good luck to you. Buddy Parrott says the reason they didn't come, you got to know when to show them and when to fold. Back to you, Ken.
To the line, we're back under Green. Green coming out of the 40th lap. The front two cars did not pit. 11 Waltrip elected to stay out, and so did Ruttman. Back straightaway as they begin to roll them out again after that green flag fell. 71 Marcus is trapped behind 2 lap cars. They're the 2 leaders beginning to get away. Number 90, Richard Brooks, is right in there, trying to maintain himself a spot in this race. There you see that blue number 90, third overall in the event. Initial report was he had gone a lap down. We're checking on that.
Boy, he ran a super race in Daytona, that number 90 car with Dick Brooks.
That 90 car looked shaky to us. 90 and 98 a week ago looked like they at any moment were ready to just lose it and float away. Great driving by Brooks. Had been in retirement and semi-retirement over the past couple of years. This year he's going to run the entire circuit. Here's the situation. Number 98 is your leader. There's 11 in second spot. Waltrip hurt, and hurt bad for the first time in his career. 1 week ago, and he slammed the wall at 190 miles an hour at Daytona. Now he's trading sheet metal on a half-mile track at Richmond, Virginia, but this track can bite you. We saw one car, Butch Lindley, a day ago, totally demolished in turn number 1. And this is the track where Bobby Allison had a terrible crash a year back. Number 48, James Hilton, has brought out the second caution of the day. Yesterday, in the Sportsman race, which was won by Sammy Ard, the Mid-Atlantic NASCAR champion, it was cold, and they had 7 cautions, and they had some horrendous wrecks. But the worst of the day was down here at turn 1, when Butch Lindley just thrashed the wall. I think we're going to have a chance to see this again, Cale Yarborough. Number 48, the Hilton car, say a little crunched up on one fender. We see what happened here. Here he is. He's already backed it into the wall. It stays up high. You don't want to get, whatever you do, you don't want to make any moves from there. Caution is out, second time. Caution falls in the 48th lap. Number 98, Joe Ruttman in front.
I'm sure Butch Lindley's got a sore ride today. He took a tremendous crash yesterday into that first turn wall. They took him to the hospital, but he came back. But he had a sore neck and a sore shoulder, and I'm sure he's suffering today.
We'll be back with more from Richmond after these messages. Green comes back on in the 47th lap. We're now completing the 49th. Ruttman jumps out in front. Waltrip has just pulled into second, and back in 9th place, Richard Petty picked up 1 spot since the beginning. He is now closing up on Ricky Rudd, who's set on the pole. Ricky Rudd is running in the 8th position, directly in front of Richard Petty. There they are, sailing down into turn number 3. You see the side of his car just a little dinged up out there, but that's part of the rope pull that you get when you run on a track of this size. Now here's Petty again, trying to get through those lap cars down to the bottom of the track and get a shot at number 3, Ricky Rudd. And there is Rudd making a move on Bodine, who taps him. 88, Bodine moved up into Ricky Rudd to hold him back. Here comes Petty. What a battle out and back. Meanwhile, Ruttman is pretty well pulled away. This is where the fight is. Number 98, there's your leader, going through turns 1 and 2. And the scramble is further back. We've got a big shunt up in turn number 4. 4 cars say how do you do. This will bring out the 3rd caution of the day, and look out while they try to whoa them.
I'm sure you'll see these front 2 cars pit this time, Ken. They've gone about far enough, I think.
James Hilton, Dave Dion, Tommy Gale, and Morgan Shepherd in that altercation, Cale.
Yep, somebody got in that 3rd turn a little too hard, a little too high, and that's what happens.
I don't think Richard Petty can be too happy where he's running right now. Bodine doesn't want to give an inch. Ricky Rudd's trying to make up some ground, and there's just no place to go out there.
I know, this is a real tight racetrack. It just takes time to work.
Let's take a look. There's the shunt again. After 2 cars had tangled, 2 more just came in and dove on top of them. Well, that's what you get in half-mile racing. The folks up in the 3rd and 4th turn, they had, and there's Dave Dion's number 29, all torn up in the front.
Now, Waldrop was in the pits, and Rudman hadn't come in yet. I really don't understand why he didn't take this opportunity to pit.
It's going to move Dale Earnhardt with one of the Fords into that 2nd position. Lead car remains number 98, Joe Rutman, in the Buick up in front. You have a Ford running in the 2nd position. It'll move Jeff Bodine officially now in the 3rd of that car number 88. Bodine driving a Pontiac. So we've got a mix of breeds up in front.
Sure have. Here comes Rutman in now.
So the leader is in the pits. Leader is now pitting. Key pit stop for car number 98. You can see him down there just on the end of pit road. That is Joe Rutman. And they're changing right side tires, taking on a little fuel. Well, they're holding off on the fuel for now. They only need 1 fuel stop, right, Cale?
Right. He's changing all 4 tires, and he's taking on fuel. He'll get to work this stop.
So Joe Rutman gives up the lead, and he'll give that 1st place to number 15, Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt came back, won a race last year, and was hoping to have that Ford of Bud Moore's really flying before the season is over. The Fords were discounted for the most part down at Daytona until they got down to drafting.
Right.
When they got to drafting, we found out that the Fords had a lot more to offer than anyone had given them credit for.
It looks like Dale Earnhardt's car is working well here today. I've been watching. He's moved up through the pack real well, and I believe he's going to be tough for the day's over.
So Earnhardt has the lead, and as we see it, Bobby Allison will have 2nd, Bodine 3rd, Bouchard 4th, Ricky Rudd 5th, Richard Petty in 6th, Harry Gant in 7th, Buddy Baker in 8th, Neil Bonnet in 9th. These are all unofficial. There you see Joe Rutman, who's back on the track. He's driven both now. He's been on the super speedways and did a magnificent job a week ago, and he's pretty used to the short tracks, and we asked him about what's easier for him, what works out better. Comparison of the short tracks of America and those super speedways. This is what Joe Rutman said.
Well, probably first physically it's a little tougher on you on a short track like this because the corners are coming a lot quicker, a lot more braking, a lot more physical effort inside the car. But you know, the effort you know, is obviously greater. The speed is down, so the adjustment to what you can do with the car is quite a bit different.
Joe Rutman, as you see, he didn't get 1st place, but he collected 4th in a pretty good case of laryngitis. Everyone came out of Daytona with a cold last week, Cale, except you.
Well, I guess so. I was so happy, I guess I didn't have time to catch a cold.
Adrenaline still up?
Still flowing strong.
So Richard Petty's won at 7. You've won at 3. You're going to go after his record for win at Daytona?
Well, we're going to win as many as we can. I hope we can surpass that record.
Well, there's a lot of kids out here that wish you old guys would give this game up and play checkers or something. What are you going to get out of this stuff?
Oh, I don't know. Sometime between now and next 25 years, I'll hang it up.
It is Earnhardt leading here at the Richmond Fairgrounds, live on WTBS, the Superstation today, with Bobby Allison currently shown in second place. He won this race back in 1974. Jeff Bodine, that Charger out of Chemung, New York, is in third. Going fourth is Massachusetts' Ron Bouchard. Then Ricky Rudd, the local favorite from Chesapeake, Virginia, is flying in that airline-sponsored car. Then in the 6th position, it's Richard Petty. And in 7th is Butch Lindley. Now, Lindley, we've got to talk about him for a moment. Butch Lindley crashed hard yesterday, and he is mighty sore and stiff. The shoulder harness just tore him up. And he's back out here. He didn't break anything, but he sure bent some muscles. And the Greenville, South Carolina campaigner, 2-time national sportsman champion, is driving one of the best-known cars in Virginia, a car constructed by Emmanuel Zervakis. And that car, number 01, on this track, he has come from a starting position of 21st to now appear in the 7th position overall. We'll be looking at him for a moment. Let's go back to Dave Despain.
We're in the pits of the leader, Dale Earnhardt, with one of the grand names in this grand game, Bud Moore. Bud, are you happy with the way things are working out there? You started 8th. Are you running according to plan?
Well, everything's working real well right now. The car's performing real beautiful, and looks like we're going to have a good day if everything holds together.
Got her built for 400 laps today, don't you?
We're hoping so. Everything's working real good right now.
That's Bud Moore, car owner on the lead machine of Dale Earnhardt. Ken?
There you see Dale Earnhardt, the leader in car number 15. And we had an opportunity to talk to Earnhardt before the race about the difference between the Daytona track a week ago and this half-mile Richmond Fairgrounds Speedway.
Well, really, the race car is a whole different race car, and racetrack's a whole different racetrack. You know, we used to drive it like a short track. It's a lot different than going down the corner wide open and out cracking. And you have to use some brakes, and, you know, you race real close, a little fender banging during the race. So, you know, it'll get real exciting Sunday.
There he is, Dale Earnhardt. What a courageous competitor he is. The 01 is up to the 6th position now. Butch Lindley has come to the 7th spot as we get ready to resume this race. Up there's the leader, Earnhardt pitting. He dives in.
1 lap to go, Ken. That's going to put him way back.
Richard Petty is right in front of Lindley, and that's a late stop. That's not going to help Earnhardt much out here. You see them right there working on Dale Earnhardt's automobile. Quick change of tires for the Bud Moore crew. In front of the field, picking up a head of steam.
See, he only got right side tires. That's going to hurt him, Ken. He should have come in earlier and changed all 4 tires like everybody else did.
22, Bobby Allison now takes the lead. Third caution period coming to conclusion as they come up for a restart. 59 laps will be complete. They'll be working. They are working the 60th lap at the present time. Coming down out of the corner. Restart. Bobby Allison now has the lead. Bodine in second. Bouchard is third. Running fourth is Ricky Rudd. 5th is Petty, and 6th is Butch Lindley, the short track driver, giving this thing a real stab. He could be formidable before the day is over. Allison in first. Little bumper tag in turns 3 and 4 as they come around and get them back to racing speed. How hard is it to control a car? You had the tires cool off. You really have to think about it, Cale. Well, on a restart,
if the racetrack is clean, the cold tires will handle better than the hot tires will. So right now they're the best.
As they come around this time, Ricky Rudd is being challenged for 4th position. Richard Petty is moving up. There you see the battle among the front 5. Let's go quickly to Dave Despain. Wait a minute, pass down to the turn. There's Richard Petty underneath, trying to make his way down the back straightaway. Petty fighting his way up through. Meanwhile, out of the back comes car number 15. Here's Earnhardt on the charge, just floating through cars. Earnhardt fighting his way up and in. Earnhardt taking 3 cars in the last lap. That change of tires really helping Earnhardt as he continues to muscle his way around the speedway. action everywhere. Back with the leaders. It's car number 22, Allison, in front. And we have a smoker coming down the main straightaway. Number 02 in trouble. Tommy Gale getting a black flag, pulls on the inside as the leaders dive into the first turn. The third place car, Ron Bouchard, and Petty has gone to fourth, and he's going underneath Bouchard. Petty is beginning to attack. Ricky Rudd has fallen to fifth. Petty looks like he's ready to muscle it out for the lead now, Cale.
Well, he sure does. He must be feeling a little better now, I guess. He's headed to that lead, and he's going under Bouchard going into turn ones now.
0-2, all torn up in the back end, finally comes to a halt. Let's see if it'll bring out a caution if he's clear the track.
Pit road on the green.
Waltrip pulls onto pit road. Yellow flag is out. Caution is out. 47 is dropped back to third. Waltrip has pulled onto pit road and decided to go right straight through so he wouldn't lose a lap. And Richard Petty gets in front of Ron Bouchard. On a half mile, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head because they are everywhere making maneuvers. Earnhardt was making a tremendous charge to get back up with the leaders, and now we are into the fourth caution of the day. That comes with a total of 66 of the 400 laps complete. That leader maintaining first place, Bobby Allison. In the second place is car number 88, Bodine. There you see Tommy Gale's car back to the garage area, and his day seems to be done. Leaders are pitting here in the Richmond 400. Richard Petty has made 2 pit stops here and come back on the attack another time. Number 11, Waltrip, was in, and the hood was up on his car. As things now shake out, number 3, after these pit stops, Ricky Rudd has taken over. There you see the Petty car. You can see that front fender really was thrashed on 43. He's mixing it up a lot and getting some abuse out there. Second place car is Butch Lindley.
He's been in some tight spots already, Ken, but I don't know what's wrong with Waltrip's car. Now, he came in and they went under the hood and also in the trunk, so something's wrong.
Let's go quickly to Joe Whitlock in the Petty pits.
Ken, we just checked with Richard Petty's pit crew, and they said the King is having absolutely no problem whatsoever, and he's prepared to go 400 laps a day, and he's feeling fine. Back to you.
Okay, scheduled pit stops for number 43, Petty, or at least they're not willing to say what they have in their hand. Back straightaway, coming around as we're under green. It is Ricky Rudd looking for his first Grand National victory. So elusive in the tremendous pressure and competition of this $9 million plus tour. Second spot stays Butch Lindley, and now lying third is Neil Bonnet, who is as good a short track driver as in the United States of America today. The fourth position is 44, Terry Labonte, and between 75, Bonnet, and Labonte is the lap car, 2 laps down, number 90, Richard Brooks. Then falling back to the 6th position, Kyle Petty is back up in it again. Kyle Petty has come to 5th, Joe Ruttman into 6th and number 98. The leaders, the earlier leaders, Bobby Allison, the Earnhardt car at 47 are running from out back. They pitted late, have to work their way back through, and Richard Petty has fallen way back after that pit stop, but they have the tires, and they say they're running right where they want to be. There you see car number 15 and 22, Bobby Allison trying to fight his way through. Allison getting up through, and Richard Petty getting snarled and having to fall back a little. There's the 15, and look at Earnhardt and Allison attack as they come around. Car number 15 and 22, Bobby Allison, just flying down into turn number 1, kicking cars. He's right behind Dave Marcus at the present time, and checking his positions off. He has pulled himself up to 11th position unofficially on the race. They say that the Waltrip car is beginning to show a little smoke out there. Let's go to Dave Despain.
We're in the pits with the leader, Ricky Rudd. Kirk Shelmerton says that there's a potential problem on the car. Kirk, what's the matter?
Got a foul spark plug or something wrong with the engine. It's running on 7 cylinders right now.
Are you going to try to keep him out front and wait for a yellow, or are you going to bring him in?
We're going to just kind of play it by ear here and see what happens. There's not a whole lot we can do from here.
The lead automobile of Ricky Rudd running on 7 cylinders. A decision still to be made what the strategy is from here. Back to you, Ken.
Well, he's got to stay with it and stand on it, and coming up on him is Lindley. There's the Richard
Schultz to be on 7 cylinders again.
Car number 17 is on pit road. Sterling Marlin's car. Now completed 77 of the 400 laps. Ricky Rudd has a lead, but it is beginning to dwindle. Moving in, Butch Lindley in that number 01, that white automobile in the second position. Back 15 car lengths in third is Neil Bonnet. And it's a clean shot to the fourth position with a 12 car lengths back with Terry Labonte. In the fifth position, it is Rutland in number 98 with a couple of laps in between them. Now 78 laps have been completed, and there remain 322. The conclusion, as we bring you live on the Superstation today, race number 2 of the Winston Cup 1983 Grand National Tour. Daytona Superspeedway a week ago, back to where it all began. Tracks like the Richmond Fairgrounds in Virginia. And there is a short track driver, Butch Lindley, fighting it out right with the lead with Ricky Rudd. Meanwhile, back comes number 11, and I think that Waltrip going to retire. Number 11, Waltrip, has gone behind the wall.
Usually, Ken, when you see him look under the hood and then go and look under the trunk, into the trunk, there's something wrong. And he had smoke coming out a few laps before he parked it. But
let's go to Dave Despain quickly.
We're alongside Darrell Waltrip. Darrell, do you know what the problem is?
I got an oil leak.
Is it something you can fix and get back in?
I couldn't tell you. I hope so.
How are you feeling physically after last week's crash?
All right.
Darrell Waltrip says it's an oil leak. They don't know if they can fix it. They're working on it now. Back to you, Ken.
Bad break for Waltrip. Car number 3 and 01 are side by side into the first turn. It is Butch Lindley on the inside, Ricky Rudd on the outside, wheel to wheel for the lead, and Lindley tries to go out in front. Back comes Ricky Rudd to take the lead on the outside. Wheel to wheel in turn 3. Butch Lindley squares it off, and he fights it down through to take first place.
Well, he's got it now. Butch Lindley is at home here at this racetrack or any short racetrack, and he's doing a good job now. I'm sure he's awful sore from yesterday's crash, but it sure is not showing on him.
There's Ricky Rudd hanging right in there and hammering on the back bumper. That number 3 car, Chevrolet automobile. And up in front right now, it is a Buick. The third position, another Chevrolet with Neil Bonnet. What a bad break for Darrell Waltrip. Meanwhile, number 98, still just easing along through things, is Joe Rutman. He is being unofficially shown in 6th position. Car number 22, Bobby Allison. There he is right behind Mark Martin. Number 2, Mark Martin, is in 8th. Bobby Allison is running in the 9th position in that scramble. Let's go back to the leaders another time. Butch Lindley, 2-time National Sportsman Champion, Greenville, South Carolina campaigner. He's run as many races as anyone here on those half-mile and quarter-mile tracks. Does not particularly favor the super speedways. He feels much more at home right out here. And that car, built, as we mentioned earlier, by Emmanuel Zervakis, one of the early stars of Grand National Racing, really does well on half quarter-mile tracks.
Well, it sure does. Emmanuel does a fine job of building cars. Right now, Joe Rutman is moving back up again. His car is really working well, and he looks like he's running the leaders down now.
Is it an upset of the making? Will Butch Lindley pull it out of the fire here? We'll find out with our live Superstation coverage of the Richmond. We are in the 5th caution period of this Richmond 400 live on the Superstation WTBS today with Cale Yarborough. I'm Ken Squire along with Joe Whitlock and Dave Despain. In the 90th lap, Mark Martin and Kyle Petty got tangled up in turn number 2. They brought out a caution. They were able to continue. They both have sustained some sheet metal damage. But what it has done is it's changed the front of the field around again. And Bobby Allison, at number 22, the number 98 of Joe Rutman, will find themselves in a position to run off the point. Meanwhile, back in the pits is Jeff Bodine and Lake Speed. The 2 cars in the altercation in turn number 2 that brought out the 5th caution of the day have continued on their way. Safety crew is also looking over turns 4 at the present time. There you see Kyle Petty's car. Let's go to Joe Whitlock in the pits.
Ken, I'm standing by with Emmanuel Zervakis. He's talking on the radio right now to his driver, Butch Lindley, who was involved in a pretty serious wreck yesterday. Emmanuel, Butch seems to be running okay, and he seems to be feeling all right. Butch seems to be feeling all right. Doesn't seem to be affected by the wreck.
He hadn't said said he got tired yet. I'm hoping that he doesn't. He's running real good, and of course, you know, we're running independent. We're looking for a major sponsor, and we have a local dealer, Leon Sapanian, helping us on this race, and we're hoping to look better things.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Emmanuel used to run this racetrack when it was dirt back in the old days. And Butch Lilly's one of the best short track drivers going. That's quite a team. Back to you, Ken.
Well, there you see Kyle Petty coming on the track another time, made another pit stop way up on the end by turn 4. All the cars in this half-mile track, as you've noted, pit on the main straightaway. Sometimes, like in Martinsville, Virginia, they pit half the field on the front straightaway and half on the backstretch. That always adds a little of the gaiety and confusion. Cale?
Well, yeah, they are, and also, Ken, they're still working on Darrell Waltrip's car down there. Darrell's still in the car, so evidently he has intentions of going back out.
Well, you know, the point battle.
Right.
He's worth, what, $500,000 in the Winston Cup this year. You're not running for points, but he is. He's already had a 33rd finish at Daytona. That's sent him way off the pace. Not as badly as a year ago at Daytona when he had trouble early on in the race. But now to have this happen, I tell you, the national championship will go right down to Riverside, California in November.
It sure can, and I'll tell you, as keen as the competition is right now, you can't afford to fall out of many races and plan on winning the championship.
As we watch Kyle Petty, let me ask you this, Cale Yarborough. You're the only man in history to ever win the national championship 3 successive years. How do you put it together 3 years in a row?
Well, you just got to work hard. You got to have a team, you know, Ken, like Junior Johnson's team that I won it with, that put the hard work in and prepares the cars, and just never give up. Even though sometimes you have problems, you got to keep going.
They're holding Joe Field's car, number 92, down at the start-finish line. Apparently, he disobeyed the flagman.
Evidently.
Dale Earnhardt had a little trouble with the flagman. $10,000 worth. I heard they reduced his fine to about $5,000.
Yeah, I think they cut it in half, but still $5,000 gets your attention pretty well.
That'll get your attention. All right, we're ready for racing once again. One more lap, and we're back live on the Superstation from the Richmond Fairgrounds, the most competitive automobile racing in the world for you today. And up in front from Upland, California, it's Joe Ruttman, and right behind him comes the head of the Alabama gang, the leader himself, number 22, Bobby Allison, still driving with bruised ribs from that terrible crash that he had in the Clash at Daytona. Then to the third spot is Dale Earnhardt, the 1980 national champion. Ron Bouchard, of that sensational victory at Talladega a couple of years back, lies fourth in the field. And look out, because Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia, in a Ford is in fifth, with Harry Gant, the Bandit, the Burt Reynolds Hal Needham car, running sixth. Richard Petty is in seventh as they come back to the line, and we're racing at Richmond. The old thump and bump down at turns 1 and 2 as all of a sudden Allison, Earnhardt, and Bouchard begin to scramble. Back they come to turn 3. And moving down to the inside, getting a little closer up on a lap car, comes Dale Earnhardt, that blue and yellow car, number 15. The Dygard Racing Team, white, red, number 22. Beautiful livery on that car. Stays in that second position. And he gets away by about 6 car lengths now. There's your leader, Ruttman. Meanwhile, look at the 01 fight his way back up through the heavy traffic. This guy, Lindley, you put him in a race car and you're going to have action. Right behind the 01 comes number 75, Neil Bonnet. He's just gone up into the 11th position. He's right behind Terry Labonte. You're watching the battle for 10th now. 44, Labonte is in 10th. 01, Lindley is in 11th. They're lapping Buddy Arrington in the Dodge as they go to turn 3. Down to the inside, lap cars in front of him, where will the shot come? Down to the inside, it is 01, Lindley trying to get beneath Terry Labonte. Now, Terry Labonte grew up on the Texas tracks. He won 36 feature events in one season down there. There's Buddy Baker. There's the 9th place car, number 21 Baker. Then here comes 01 Lindley on the inside, trying to reel in the 44. Back they come to the turn, and Lindley.
Lindley's going to get ornery.
And ornery Butch Lindley picks up a spot. He hammers it right down in there, and he may leave enough room for Neil Bonnet to come through on the 75. That's what's happening. They've opened up a hole, and driving right through, assisted by Butch Lindley, is Neil Bonnet. And now he's ready to work on Baker. Back in turns 3 and 4 another time. 100 laps down. Lead car still up in front. It is the 98 car with 100 complete. Look at Neil Bonnet go up underneath Butch Lindley. 21. Stay in there, and for just a moment we had some cars slithering in turn 1, but they gathered it back up again. And the battle continues up at turn 4. There's where the struggle is. And look at Neil Bonnet. Neil Bonnet, who had as sensational a week as anyone, won the Clash at Daytona among the 16 time trial winners of a year ago, then came back and won a 125-mile qualifier. Right now he's in the box. A lap car in front of him, the black automobile of Jimmy Sauter, the BK Ulrich prepared car, is holding up Neil Bonnet, and 0-1 comes right back around again. Butch Lindley fights his way back through. As they stand, the 9th place is Buddy Baker, the 10th place is 75 Bonnet. The 0-1 getting back under Bonnet another time. He pulls up to 10th. There's your leader, Rutland. Now Rutland has it free and clear, and almost half lap in front of him. Do you look out?
Really working well, Ken. I've been watching the past few laps, and he hasn't bobbled a time. He's going to be tough here today.
You talked about Daytona as a checker game. I would say this is just a more intense checker game, keeping track of all those lap cars.
Absolutely. You got to keep your mind on what you're doing, and Rutland is really doing a tremendous job now. He's just pulling away from the field.
So Joe Rutland stays up in front. Bobby Allison is in. The fans will tell you that Richmond is a one-groove track. The car builders will tell you it's a one-groove track. Someone neglected to tell the drivers. They're running this thing like an expressway, and the passing has been absolutely intense. Look at Butch Lindley getting up underneath Ricky Rudd. They're fighting for position right now. That is the battle for 6th that you're watching. Lindley is coming through like a house of fire. Here he is, fighting for 6th place. On the inside is Lindley. On the outside is Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd takes the spot back. Remember, 90 is a lap car. Number 3, Ricky Rudd back into 6th. Just moments ago, that 0-1 made some incredible maneuvers and picked up some spots. Watch this. There's Richard Petty. They were then battling for 8th position. Off the turn. Just gave him a little shot here as they came into the main straightaway. Then cutting to the inside went Butch Lindley in the Zabakis car. Petty went a little high going to the corner. And down to the inside went Lindley. This is replay now. And following him through came number 75, Neil Bonnet. So Petty's day is not at its best at this particular moment. Richard Petty now lies 10th unofficially on the field. Meanwhile, the struggle continues. Lapping James Hilton is Butch Lindley, and right with him comes Neil Bonnet. Bonnet just looks tough these days. There's your leader, number 98, Joe Rutman. You like Rutman as a driver?
Rutman is a real good driver, Ken. You know, he came on the scene a couple years ago, and nobody really paid too much attention to him, but all of a sudden you saw him up front there, and we knew that with a good car that he was going to be tough. So he got everybody's attention right quick.
Number 98 leading the event. Cale Yarborough alongside us. Now watch this battle again between 3 and 0-1. That's the battle for 6th place. Right in front is number 47 and 5th, Ron Bouchard. They're in turn 1. These cars change every lap, and that's one of those nuances, one of those subtleties which the average viewer just doesn't get a chance to know about.
Well, that's true, Ken. Not only the car changes, but the racetrack itself changes, and you got to keep up with it all day if you're going to be competitive.
Fuel goes down, the tires change. You have to have a very deft hand to control that 3,700-pound car. There goes Rudd trying to get under Bouchard again. Bouchard in 5th. Ricky Rudd, number 3 and 6. Lindley down the inside. Lindley charging into turn number 3. Bottom side. Again, trying to muscle his man. Puts the shoulder to him. And Lindley is there. Let's see if Neil Bonnet will come along on the bottom side. Back they go into turn number 1.
Some of these cars, Ken, have already moved the groove that they're running. Joe Rutman is still running a low groove pretty much around the racetrack. But I see Bobby Allison has moved up down through turns 1 and 2, and he's running a high groove now.
Now this is the battle. In that 5th spot is 47 Bouchard, then in 6th, wheel to wheel. Butch Lindley inside the pole sitter, Ricky Rudd outside the kid who set a record, an official record at 198 miles an hour in Daytona. Your co-host today, Cale Yarborough, set an unofficial record over 200 miles an hour, and then in lap number 2, you all know what happened. Side over side, backwards into the wall. Now you're watching 75. There goes number 75 up on the outside, trying to pick up that spot. They get onto a lap car, and Bonnet's there. Just able to make 0-1 lift a little.
Dale Earnhardt's got trouble coming down pit road.
Earnhardt on pit road. Here's Ricky Rudd. in the 3 car down underneath the 47. That's the battle for 5th. Remember, better than 90 miles per hour on the straightaway on a half-mile track. Here comes Neil Bonnet. Underneath, Ron Bouchard. Ricky Rudd picking up another spot. Talk about waiting for a race to stabilize. There's just no such thing here. They're swapping positions on every lap. Not with a leader at the moment, but well back in the pack. 98, Rutman has himself about a 15-car length advantage over the second-place car.
Well, a race never stabilizes on a short track, Ken, because you're always in traffic. You never get a break. On a super speedway, sometimes you'll run 4 or 5 laps and not be around another car, but always on a short track, you're in traffic.
I can remember when Richard Petty stabilized it. We won one time here by 5 laps. Let's go to Dave Despain.
Here in the Bud Moore and Wrangler Jeans pits, where Dale Earnhardt has just made a second unexpected stop. You remember a few laps back, he came in unexpectedly right on the tail end of a yellow caution period. The problem that time was a flat right front tire. They changed both right side tires. Now under green, the right front has gone flat again, and Earnhardt has had to make his second unscheduled pit stop for right front tire problems. Back to you, Ken.
Ricky Rudd at number 3 has now pulled up the 4th spot. There's your leader, and car 15 has shown us a lap down. He made a quick stop. He's trying to get the lap back. Earnhardt unofficially now back in a lead lap. He may have lost 2. We know he lost 1. It is Ricky Rudd in 4th. Bonnet is in 5th, and in the 6th position is Bouchard. 7th is Baker. 8th is Labonte in the current standings. Unofficially, back to 9th is Richard Petty. Car number 11 is getting ready to come back out again and is now on the track. Waltrip just rolling back out, and he is down 45 laps. So it's strictly for the points to try to stay up on top to win his 3rd Winston Cup and to equal your mark.
Well, there's no doubt about it. There's no way he can win this race, but he's got to accumulate as many points as he possibly can.
Some days it's diamonds. Some days it's stone, and it's been a week of hard stone for this fellow, Darrell Waltrip.
Well, it sure has.
Neil Bonnet in 5th. He has been just kind of resting, letting the other guys use up their race cars out there. I would presume that's a very good move to make. Let the other guys beat up the sheet metal, maybe wear the parts down, and just kind of take the holes when they come.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Richard Petty's car is not handling as good as I've seen it handle here in the past. He's having a little bit of problems. Of course, all that can change. You can come in on a pit stop and put 4 fresh tires on and might get the stagger just right, and then he'll be the man to beat. You never know.
So Joe Rutman continues to lead here at the Richmond. 135 laps complete, 265 to go. Joe Rutman is in front, but his lead is anything but secure because the leader of the Alabama gang, this man, number 22, has that number 98 set in his sights, and he's trying to shoot him down. He is close to within now 10 car lengths. He was trailing by 20 car lengths just a bit ago. Let's go to the pits for an update from Dave Despain.
A disappointing day here in the Darrell Waltrip pits. A problem with the rear drivetrain. Run Darrell in. He lost 45 laps. Stevie Waltrip, how's Darrell feeling?
Today he feels just like what he's doing. He feels like racing. And Junior told him if he didn't feel like racing the whole race, that he would relieve for him. So I know Darrell's going to stay in the whole race.
Obviously, Darrell Waltrip wants those Grand National points. They made the decision that he would get back in Junior Johnson's car and go back out on the racetrack. That's Stevie Waltrip, Darrell's wife. Back to you, Ken Squire.
Reviewing for you now the standings with 137 laps completed this half-mile track. We have an unbelievable 18 cars running in the lead lap with 137 laps complete. 18 cars in the lead track on a half-mile track. With Rutman first, Allison closing in second, Harry Gant is third, Ricky Rudd now fourth, Bonnet to fifth, Buddy Baker in sixth, Terry Labonte seventh, Butch Lindley is eighth, Ron Bouchard 9, Mark Martin 10, Bodine 11, Richard Petty is back to 12. Not having a good time at all. Now I think we can change one position. Petty has just knocked off one automobile. He's picked himself up. Richard Petty has been floating through a little out here and picking up cars, and he's picked up 11th spot just to the last lap. He's going after Bill Elliott at the present time. The guy to watch And number 98, Joe Ruttman. Richard Petty has picked up a couple of cars here all of a sudden. He just scampered by the Elliott car. He picked off the number 47 of Bouchard, so he's up into 10th. There's your leader, 98, Ruttman.
I think Rich is picking up the pace a little bit, Ken, because right now he can see Joe Ruttman coming behind him on the same straightaway, and he's going to put a lap on him if he doesn't pick it up.
The 01 of Butch Lindley right in front of Richard Petty. 01 Lindley, and Richard Petty is right on his deck. There they are. There you see Butch Lindley in the 01, then Richard Petty running next to the 43. That squabble is for 8th as Petty has turned the wick up a little out here and is closing on his competitors, trying to stay in that lead lap.
Well, it sure is. You know, you can run along there not knowing what's going on, then all of a sudden you look up and you see the leader coming in your rear view mirror. You know, you got to pick it up and do something about it.
Let's go back to the pits for this late update.
We're in the pits of the number 22 machine of Bobby Allison. Crew chief Gary Nelson, is everything okay with the car?
Yeah, the car's running real good. It's on a little bit on the loose side. We're trying to get it even better. I'd like to say hi to Bill Gardner up in Connecticut.
You've been talking to Bobby on the radio. He's bruised up from his Daytona crash. How's he doing out there physically?
No problem with Bobby physically. He's in great shape. He's just trying to hurry up and get this race over with, get one behind us.
That's Gary Nelson, crew chief on Bobby Allison's machine. He's come from 6th starting spot to run 2nd on the racetrack. Back to you, Ken.
And for the moment, this race has stabilized with Joe Ruttman in front and Allison in that 2nd position. And Allison seems to be ready to wait just a bit, running a little off the pace. Number 11, Darrell Waltrip. He's 45 laps down, and he is just trying to cruise it out. That's going to hurt more than running hard. Just have to be out there and grind out the laps.
Well, I'm sure Darrell is down about that, but he needs those points. He's got to keep going.
On the new update, we have 44 Labonte in 7th. Mark Martin is shown as the 8th position car in number 2. A lot of changes taking place further back in the field, but the secure spot is right up here. 98. Back into turn 3 goes Joe Ruttman. Will he win his first Grand National race here today?
Yeah, he sure looks good. I tell you, Richard Petty going to pick his pace up, but Ruttman is sure closing down on him. He's going to find himself a lap down. But Richard's come a lot of times from laps back to win races several times, and that can happen. But the way the competition is now, Ken, you don't want to catch yourself a lap down if possible.
It's about a straightaway. 98 back, and there you see the 22 car. About a straightaway behind Richard Petty, going a lap down. There you see those leaders in together as Allison has made up a lot of ground, and he's right there running with Joe Ruttman for the lead. Good battle down at turn number 1 has car number 75 fighting number 3. They make war a little further back in the pack. They're fighting for 4th position. Everywhere you look, somebody's in a struggle out here. Stevie Waltrip keeping track out here in the race. Ricky Rudd at number 3 and number 75 fighting for 4th, Neil Bonnet. And up in front, we don't dare leave these two for the moment because it looks like Allison is ready to give it a go up on the point.
Bonnet gets by Rudd going into turn 3.
150 of the 400 laps are now complete. Allison getting a little better handle out of turn number 2 that time, as you can see. 3rd place car still is the Bandit, Harry Gant in the Haldina Burt Reynolds machine. 4th is Rudd in number 3, but he's side by side with the 75. And 75 Bonnet's going to make the shot. It's 75 Bonnet into 4th. Rudd will fall to 5th. The 6th position stays now in the hands of Buddy Baker. Showing Mark Martin as a lap down at this moment, so Buddy Baker will have the 6th position, and 7th will be Terry Labonte. Terry Labonte is about to lose that one to Jeff Bodine. Back to the leaders. And Ruttman in the 98. gets a little bit of breathing room. All of a sudden, he pulled away to about a 12-car length advantage.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, when Ruttman really wants to go, looks like he just turned the wick up and get on the way.
Richard Petty's car, the 43, right behind Butch Lindley in the 01. They are running in 10th, 01. Richard Petty is running 11th. So we work toward the halfway point here in the Richmond 400. Race number 2 of 30. Takes these cars all the way to California twice. Starts them at Daytona and concludes the season in Riverside, California. Next Sunday, they move on to a mile track, Rockingham, North Carolina, for the next battle in the 1983 Tour. That's a tough one.
Well, it sure is. That's 500 miles on a mile racetrack. It's long and tough. Yeah.
500 miles or 24 hours, whichever comes first.
Absolutely.
Waiting now to find out on a pit stop on Ruttman, number 98, as to when they plan to bring it in. Conceivably, they could come in one time here if they stay green and go the distance today. So Joe Ruttman in 98 for the moment has just a bit of a breather as he tries to close in and get a shot at lapping at the Richmond Fairgrounds in the Richmond 400 for the Winston Cup Tour of NASCAR. The Grand National cars are thundering this afternoon. We have had 5 caution periods. There you see Gary Nelson, the crew chief on the Bobby Allison car, on the radio talking to his driver, currently 2nd overall. There you see him closing up another time on car number 98, Joe Ruttman, as they run through turns 3 and 4 on this half-mile paved track. Sold out today, as was Daytona a week ago. The difference, the size of the track. Certainly not the action, nor the competition. Right behind car number 90, Richard Brooks, lies your leader, Joe Ruttman. Brooks a couple of laps down. With me here in the booth is Cale Yarborough. 3 times he's won at Richmond, twice in this 400. And boy, we'll talk to him in just a moment. We can get a quick report from Joe Whitlock in the pits.
Mark Martin, consistent young runner. You were running a nice steady pace out there today. What happened to your race car?
Well, we were running really good. I can't hardly hear what you're saying, but the car was running super. We were moving right up. I think we were up in the 6th place, and I had the 4th and 5th place cars right in my sights and was running them down. And we lost a ring and pinion. You know, I don't know what the problem was. It was just, you know, a mechanical failure.
Thank you, Mark. That's Mark Martin, a tough break for a nice young driver. They're going to try to get him back in the race. Back to you, Ken.
The J.D. Stacy car in trouble with Mark Martin, the brilliant young driver from the Midwest. Right down there in the trenches on a half-mile track. It sounds like a combat zone. Here's Ruttman still in front. Allison maintaining that 2nd spot as they put a lap on Bouchard. And here comes car number 15 up on the outside, trying to work his way through. It is Earnhardt going around Bodine in the 88. It is Bodine on the inside. Bodine down low, and car number 15 right there. 15 and 88 fighting for 7th position. And Earnhardt, who went a lap down, now picks himself up a spot. Bodine falls to 8th. Nobody's willing to play it even today. Everybody's making a run, and we still are a long way from halfway.
Well, we sure are, Ken. But that Ruttman car and Allison car are really running strong. Now, they're up on the back bumper now of Richard Petty, and looks like he's going to go a lap down. That'll be hard to make up.
11 cars in the lead lap. Something to miss with Richard Petty. He's won 13 times this track. He's about to go a lap down to Joe Ruttman, the upstart from Upland, California, and right behind him, Bobby Allison. Bobby Allison looking for his 74th career win today in Grand National competition. And Joe Ruttman looking for his very first. There they are, ready to lap. The man with so much history. Richard Petty won his first race here at Richmond back in 1961. Back when you were just a little kid, Cale.
No doubt about it, Ken. You know, Richard Petty's father, Lee Petty, ran good here, and Richard's run good. And now Kyle Petty's come along, and he's running good. And I understand Kyle's got a couple of kids, so I guess they're going to come along and run. I guess it's kind of like old Hank Williams Jr. says, it's just an old family tradition.
Here is number 98. Ruttman in front. I thought your line a couple of weeks ago, they were talking about Bobby Allison worried about his son and Richard Petty worried about his son. You said that you didn't have that problem with your boys.
That's right. All my boys are girls, so I don't have that problem.
Harry Gabb runs in third, about 10, 15 car lengths back from this battle up in front, and now it is heated up another time. Car number 98, Ruttman. Can he stay there? Bobby Allison just about now would like to take it away. 172 laps are complete. That's 228 to go. Allison's willing to wait this one out. He's been here so many times. There's Harry Gant. There's your third place car, number 33. And you can see on the outside the young driver from Ashland, Ohio, trying to get a lap back as he fights his way up through. They're the leaders. And again, Allison is there, crowding for the lead on Joe Ruttman. What a struggle they have put on. This Nygaard Racing team, which Allison won the 1982 Daytona 500. This year had a terrible misfortune in the clash. Hard, serious crash. Now there's the fourth position, number 75, Neil Bonnet. As he laps car number 18, I think that's Slick Johnson today. Indeed it is, the Florence, South Carolina competitor in a Buick. Neil Bonnet.
You know, you're talking about Bobby. Talking about Bobby. Bobby had 2 bad crashes at Daytona, so he had double trouble down there.
And almost 2 days in a row. First in the clash, destroyed a car, and then he and A.J. Foyt were drafting. Car in front of them hand grenaded an engine, and Allison had nothing to do but ride it down. They thought he had broken some ribs. There's a lap going on Terry Labonte, number 44. Labonte falling a lap down. So they're now up to the front 8 cars in the lead lap. Let's go to Dave Despain.
We're once again in the Bobby Allison pits. We just checked with crew chief Gary Nelson again about Bobby's situation. Bobby had fallen a little bit off the leader Joe Ruttman's pace. I asked Gary what was happening. He smiled and he said, my driver got a little over anxious. Allison got himself back in good shape and is right on the rear deck of the leader Joe Ruttman. Buddy Parrott of the Joe Ruttman crew says they will bring Joe in about lap 220. They'll get past the halfway point about lap 220. It'll be time for fuel, assuming we continue to run under green. Back to you, Ken.
Car number 98, Ruttman in front, Allison in second. The 5th place car at the present time could be the fastest car on the track. Ricky Rudd expiring, blowing an engine. Car number 3, Ricky Rudd losing an engine. And he will be the 6th retiree from the event. And I don't think we have a caution coming out. You can see the smoke coming out of the headers, clouding up his day. Ricky Rudd, who's set on the pole, the youngster from Chesapeake, Virginia. And these Virginia fans would love to see a Virginia driver win this race, but it doesn't seem to be in the cards right now. California is first, Alabama is second, North Carolina is third, Alabama is fourth, North Carolina fifth.
I think the toughest race on the racetrack right now is Harry Gant and Tim Richmond. They've been battling for about 10 laps, passing each other back and forth, just like they were Daytona.
27, that car is reported as a lap down. In fact, he is being shown as 2 laps down, Tim Richmond's car, but he's sure making war with the Harry Gant car. Harry, at the present time, has the position, and he is 3rd overall. The 27 car was being shown 15th on the last rundown. 180 laps are now complete in the Richmond 400. Live on the Superstation. There's the crew on Ricky Rudd's car gathered about. Dave Despain trying to get a word. Pit crew's doing a terrific job under the most difficult of conditions. It's rough on a super speedway, but threefold here on a half mile. Car number 9, Bill Elliott and his Ford out of Dawsonville, Georgia, is rolling down pit road as they roll back. Car number 3, the pole sitter for the 2nd straight race on the 1983 Tour. Richard Petty trying to make a move on number 44. Petty is moving in and trying to get under Terry Labonte here. They're fighting for the 8th position at the present time up in turn number 1. Leader, 98, right there, trying to put a lap on car number 88, Bodine. Let's take a look at Richard Petty right here. Up on the outside, with him all the way is the 01 Butch Lindley, and right in front of him is the 44 car. Terry Labonte is running in 4th. Richard Petty is now 9th. And Butch Lindley is in 10th. We'll be back with more of the Richmond. Bobby Allison making some serious moves to take the lead away from Joe Ruttman. And there's the 5th place car. That is Dale Earnhardt, and what a tremendous job he is doing. Back with the leaders another time as they fight for first. A quick report from Dave Despain.
Ricky Rudd said as he sat on the pole for the 2nd straight week, we've got the start of these things down. Now we've got to figure out how to finish. Today was not the day. Ricky, what happened?
Well, real early in the race, on about the 5th or 6th lap, it started missing. I got out front, was leading the race, and then we thought it burned a spark plug wire because it started running on 7 cylinders. And it just continued to get worse. Even though the car was working good enough, we could still lead the race at one time. But the motor just continued to get worse, and finally just blew altogether.
You had some left front sheet metal damage. Where'd that come from?
You know, I don't know. Everybody's just racing pretty hard out there in the early goings, and I think my car and Petty's car got together a little bit.
That's the pole sitter, Ricky Rudd, out of the event, blown motor. Ken?
Battle for the lead. Bobby Allison is there, knocking on the door. Joe Ruttman is out in front. Here they are in the main straightaway into turn number 1. Ruttman pulls away just a bit as he tries to stay in that front running position. Allison beginning to attack, and when he does, he is relentless. Here he comes up on the outside. It's Bobby Allison high, Joe Ruttman low, the leader of the Alabama gang, making his move for the first time in the race at lap 193. Moving to the halfway point. Allison flashes down in front into turn number 1. Ruttman cuts the corner a little tighter. Just tweaking it, and it is Ruttman back in the lead. Back comes Bobby Allison on the outside. Allison to the back straightaway going up in front. Bobby Allison in number 22 becomes your leader. Here is 98, Ruttman trying again, but the high side is the quick side right now, and Bobby Allison takes first place. Cale Yarborough, what about the tires on these cars right now?
Well, I'm sure the tires are getting worn down pretty well now. You know, it won't be long before a pit stop, and they get pretty slick right now. Now, Darrell Waltrip now has pulled his car completely behind the guardrail. Looks like he's taking it to the truck.
So Waltrip is officially retiring from the race as Bobby Allison takes command. We're nearing the halfway point. Next time by, there will be 5 laps to the halfway mark in the Richmond 400 live on Superstation WTBS. Race number 2 of the most competitive automobile racing in the world. And Bobby Allison, 1982 Daytona 500-mile champion, stays in front. Tried to be the national champion time and time again, and has always ended up as runner-up. But what a determined, great driver he is. Now look at that car begin to move up. How do you save rubber? How do you save tires when you're going this fast, putting this much pressure on them?
Well, it's really no way to save them, Ken, unless you can run the way you want to run and back off and don't run the car quite as hard. Now, Bobby now is just pulling away, and he's going to be able to just back off and ease through the corners, which will not heat his tires up so bad.
The 3rd place car remains Harry Gant. He's the sleeper in this deck. Then in the 4th place, it is Neil Bonnet. In 5th is Earnhardt. 6th is Baker. 7th, Bodine. 8th is Petty, 9th is Terry Labonte, 10th is Lindley, 11th is Bouchard, 12th is Lake Speed, and 13 is last year's winner, Dave Marcus. Remember, he won it at the halfway point in the rain. We've got a smoker, car blowing, coming in off turn number 4 and pulling on a pit road. I think it's the Fields car. Meanwhile, right behind Kyle Petty, here comes Bobby Allison, cruising down into the main straightaway.
Putting Kyle Petty another lap down.
2 laps down on Kyle Petty now. Halfway, next time by. The halfway marker coming out. And it will be all in favor of Bobby Allison at the halfway. If there's any bonuses here today, sometimes they have bonuses for all kinds of things in these races. There you see Harold Kinder displaying the halfway indicator. Cross flags. Here's a quick report on pit road from Joe Whitlock.
I'm standing here with Darrell Waltrip's retired race car. Darrell's already gone to the truck. As you know, he's not feeling too well because of the accident he had last week. Finally, after all the problems he's had today, the rear end and the gearing just finally went out of number 11. It's a tough day for Darrell Waltrip. Back to you, Ken.
The Fields car, number 92, being rolled back. That one is retiring, and the attrition rate continues to develop here. Waltrip now has retired from the race. He would be the 7th, and the 8th retiree is number 92. Fields losing his engine on his car. So Allison is in front for the moment. Ruttman having to settle for 2nd place. Gant just waiting in the 3rd position, and Gant is now 1/2 lap down to Bobby Allison in the lead. Gant has to worry about the car of Neil Bonnet, which is running very, very well, and also the car number 15, which is definitely on the move, Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt is up to the 4th position. Bobby Allison This would seem to be your kind of racetrack. What do you have to say about it?
Richmond, I've had a lot of good races here. Had a few mishaps here too. Specifically the last 2 February races. 1981 I went through the wall in turn 4, and 1982 I went through the wall in turn 1, and that's enough. That kind of stuff.
It certainly is enough of that kind of stuff.
Well, he's sure working good now. Bobby's car is handling real well. He's running up into high groove. The racetrack has changed. Rutland's car is loose. Now, Rutland's car handled real good the first part of the race, but now he's breaking loose and fishtailing off the corner and just letting Bobby Allison just go on the way.
The Superstation WTBS with Motor Week Illustrated, 5:35 to 6:05 every Saturday. We hope you join him. Here's Rutland making up some time with his new tires on. Remember, he's coming from a lap down. He's just made the lap up. He's back in the lap with the leader. But he's got some running to do. He's on the tail end of the lap. And remember as well that Allison still has to come in. And you can be sure that Nelson and the Nygaard crew are waiting there, and they're going to try to set all kinds of records to get them out. I can recall when Buddy Baker won at Talladega, when Bud Moore did a 12-second pit stop to turn it all around and give him a victory. Because on a super speedway, 1 second on the track is about, or 1 second in the pits is about 300 feet on the track.
Absolutely. Now, Bobby Allison's car is beginning to get a little loose now, so I feel like he'll be making this stop shortly.
Now, when it gets loose, it begins to sashay and skitter around out there. You must have to work so much harder.
Oh, it's no doubt about it. It's just like driving on ice. You know, I remember here a few years ago, my car broke loose coming off of turn 4, leading the race, and I ended up down in the infield, run head on with a fire truck. So it's not very pleasing to run a car too loose here.
Fire company sent you a bill?
They tried to get me to pay for it, but we talked them out of it.
Gave you your autograph instead. Nice going. Here's Bobby Allison still leading, but he has to make a pit stop and make it soon. 215 of the 400 laps are now complete. The second place, as things stand, goes to Harry Gant, and Dale Earnhardt has come to third. Richard Petty is on pit road, and his car is all torn up on the right side. It has really sustained some abuse. Car number 43 now on pit road. It is beaten up, torn up.
That's just Richmond battle scars.
41 coming back on the track. Young Thomas. Ronnie Thomas in and out. Richard Petty gets back out. He's back in 10th position. Richmond.
Richmond's falling off the pace.
Back here again, live from the Richmond Fairgrounds, where you're watching Bobby Allison lead. You're also seeing car number 33 in your picture now. That is Harry Gant, the Bandit, who is running in second place overall in the event. Gant maintaining second place. Dale Earnhardt was right in his rear bumper, then fell 15 car lengths back just moments ago. Something amiss on his car. Now Jeff Bodine is pitting car number 88. Here is a late racing update from Superstation WTBS at Miami in the Miami Grand Prix. Red flag, torrential rains in Miami this afternoon. Race is stopped. Al Holbert from Pennsylvania leading with a Porsche when the race was put under a red flag. We'll try to keep you updated from there this afternoon. And the full story next Saturday afternoon from the Superstation on Motor Week Illustrated with host Dave Despain. Bobby Allison still first here at Richmond. Harry Gant is in second. There you see the third place car, Dale Earnhardt, Rookie of the Year 1979. Came back and was national champion in 1980, and then right to the back of the field for all of 1981, Cale Yarborough.
Yeah, he had a tough year. He came on strong, and then, you know, he won the championship, and then hasn't done anything since. But looks like this year he's going to run a little better.
Fourth place overall, Neil Bonnet. Fifth, Rutland. Sixth, Lindley. Seventh is currently Ron Bouchard. As we reach to 225 laps complete, 226 of the 400 to be run on this half-mile track. And what a battle they're having here in Richmond today. Bobby Allison has driven a brilliant race, waited his people out, made his moves. Here's Ron Bouchard, who is already pitted, trying to make up a lap. Now, Bouchard grew up in the modified ranks, probably best known up at Stafford Springs, Connecticut, where he cut his teeth in racing. His dad in the trucking business up there has two sons, both excellent racers. Ron Bouchard getting his opportunity just a year ago. Number 44, Labonte, rather 2 years ago, to really move up into Grand National Racing. Terry Labonte is retiring, number 44. just going behind the wall on pit road. Terry Labonte, who made such a great run for the national championship in 1982. And the leader is coming onto pit road. Leader is getting ready to come on pit road, did not come in yet. Leader not coming in yet. They were all set to see him come in. A quick report from Dave Despain.
We're in the Bud Moore pits with the Dale Earnhardt machine on the racetrack and making moves out there. They had 2 flat tires early in the event, got themselves into trouble. Bud is too busy on the radio to talk right now. He's talking to Dale Earnhardt. He's very comfortable with the way a car is working. You can look for a charge out of Earnhardt. They've got good rubber on the car. They're running very well out there. Ken?
Lake Speed is pitting his car. There you see the Earnhardt number 15, line third. He's had to make up a lap, and now they're battling for the front position. It is Bobby Allison. Harry Gant is there, the Bandit. Here's another driver out of the modified ranks of NASCAR. Worked his way up. Finally got the break from Hal Needham to get this right, and he's taking the lead. Harry Gant is going to put the Bandit up, and the car owner, Hal Needham, is here today watching this car operate. Needham has just done a movie on stock car racing starring Lonnie Anderson, Burt Reynolds for this summer.
Coming down pit road, Ken.
Here's the leader, Bobby Allison, deciding it's really time for tires. Watch this pit stop now. In, stop, fuel, tires being changed. Seconds ticking off. We have the clock on them. Bobby Allison, who has been your leader. Right side rubber. Jackman ready to drop it. It's down. He's away. And I had that one in 12 seconds flat. 2 tires and a tank of fuel. Tell that to your local filling station operator.
Well, they're really doing some good stops here today.
Can't miss on one of these. You've either got to get it right
Absolutely.
or get some more practice. Let's go down to Dave Despain.
With Gary Nelson. Gary, good stop. Everything okay?
Yeah, we were losing a lot of time with our hot tires out there, but we tried to stretch it as far as we can. It's going to be very close to see if we can make it all the way from here.
Tires or fuel? Close on tires or close on fuel?
The fuel.
Tires are working okay now. They've made the stop. Gary Nelson has put the leader back on the racetrack. Ken?
234 laps complete, 166 to go, and Harry Gant is the 7th different leader in the Richmond 400 today. It almost says oversaid and becomes a cliche about this business of competition, Cale, but so many great teams, mega-buck sponsors, good drivers. Can't buy a ride in here like you can in some forms of racing. You've got to earn it. You've got to prove you belong out here.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You can't come in and buy a ride like you do in some of the other type races. You got to be a racer or you don't get a ride. That's the name of the game here. And it's been good for the sport. You know, we were talking about Richard Petty winning races 4 or 5 laps down and coming back to win. That doesn't happen anymore because there's cars that's going to run strong all day and finish.
And one of them right now is number 33, Harry Gant, the Bandit. The crew chief, Travis Carter. Now, Travis Carter is just as good a crew chief as you can get. And Harry Gant has proven himself to be successful on Super Speedway in the National 500 in Charlotte last year and in Martinsville. And you're watching him pit right now. And we'll watch this Travis Carter crew go to work, see if they can come under 12 seconds. There you see number 33 on pit road. That's his timeout. This guy works as a carpenter just to stay in shape. Builds houses. I mean, he builds them. Now here's Bobby Allison trying to roar back into it. Pit stop. This is a lengthy pit stop. Took him over 15 seconds.
That
can
could
cost
be
you the
trouble.
race.
That's exactly right.
So as we check the leaderboard now, at the Richmond 400 in Richmond, Virginia, Dale Earnhardt will find himself in first place. Earnhardt in number 15, now up into the front running position. It's amazing how many races these drivers get into before they get a chance at a Grand National. Most of them have had 50, 60 wins, some of them hundreds of wins. Harry Gant had 300 or 400 wins before he ever got that break.
Well, that's right. You know, a lot of drivers think that you can just come jump right in a Grand National race or race car and go to winning, and that's far from being true. It's a different ball game altogether.
Let me review for you how we stand. We're showing 241 of 400 laps complete with Cale Yarborough. I'm Ken Squire. Joe Whitlock, Dave Despain down in the pits here at the Richmond Fairgrounds. Sellout crowd, beautiful day. Dale Earnhardt has the Bud Moore Ford in first. Neil Bonnet, the Chevrolet, is in second. And it's Joe Ruttman in third, driving a Buick with the fourth position right now. Bobby Allison's car, number 22, under the Chevrolet. Then in the fifth spot, dropping back after his pit stop, Harry Gant. Fifth spot, Harry Gant. Pit stop complete on that car. The sixth position we'll get for you in just a moment. 5 cars are now showing in the lead lap. 6 unofficially, Jeff Bodine. 7th, Butch Lindley. 8th, these 3 cars are a lap down, the 47 car of Ron Bouchard. Now we have gone since lap number 95 without a caution, Cale.
Right, now this could be really be a factor in this race. Now Earnhardt has got to stop another time, and Bonnet's got to stop another time. That's going to put Joe Ruttman back in the lead, and Joe right now has about almost a full straightaway on Bobby Allison.
There you see 33 and 15 getting back out at another time. Earnhardt fighting his way right back in there with Harry Gant. And now 15 drops in. Dale Earnhardt brings that car down. This Bud Moore crew can do just incredible jobs on pit road. They're marshaled like a military unit when they pull in. Let's go to Dave Despain.
Bud Moore's crew going to work on the number 15 machine of the leader, Dale Earnhardt. Routine stop, things happening in a hurry. Bud waves them off, and Dale Earnhardt is back out on the racetrack. About a 15-second stop on the leader. Good stop. He'll be able to go the distance from here, barring anything unforeseen.
So intense, so electric, the moments of this race. There's just no letting up. The pressure is there, the excitement there, lap after lap. As you watch car number 33, Harry Gant, right there with Dale Earnhardt again. Switching positions around another time.
I've been watching Ruttman's car. You know how good and how strong he was running the first part of the race. Ruttman is definitely off the pace. His car is not running as good as it was, and Bobby Allison now is making up ground on him pretty fast.
You see Neil Bonnet, who's just made his pit stop back on the track, and there's 33, Harry Gant, who had been running in 5th. All the leaders are coming in here with 244 laps complete. I believe this is going to give Ruttman, he is just going to pick it up here as a leader with these pit stops, all making what could be their last stop before they hit the checkered flag in the Richmond. Joe Ruttman is now the leader in the Richmond 400 live today on Superstation WTBS. With Cale Yarborough, I'm Ken Squire up here topside watching Joe Ruttman of Upland, California try to put one away to win his first Grand National race. But he has his hands full. Right there, number 15, Dale Earnhardt has been closing about 2 car lengths a lap in the last 10 laps. And this Earnhardt car seems to be handling much better than the leader.
Well, it sure is, Ken. You know, as I said earlier in the race, sometimes the car really starts off strong here. The racetrack changes, and you just can't keep your chassis up adjusted enough to be able to go with the racetrack. So Earnhardt and Allison now are definitely running faster than Ruttman, and they're going to be taking him over shortly.
Third place car is Bobby Allison. There's a lap car in between them, and now down to the inside. That's that lap car, number 17, that they're trying to move over. Sterling Marlin. Not so much they as he, Earnhardt. I'm sure the team would like to have some mental power to slide him out of the way and give Earnhardt a real crack at this man, number 98. And we can see the interval here as they scoot into that turn. Back they go through 3 and 4. There's your leader, number 98. There's that lap car, and then here comes Earnhardt. Now you see the 3 of them. And the situation as it develops. Out of turn number 2. The lap car of Sterling Marlin, 17, separating Earnhardt from the leader, number 98, Joe Ruttman. And Sterling Marlin doesn't seem any too excited about getting out of the way.
Well, he sure doesn't. And, you know, being a lap or so down, he should let Earnhardt go.
Back they go into turn number 1. Dale Earnhardt, how many laps can you be down and still come back to win this race?
Well, a couple years ago, Petty's won them from 5 or 6 laps back. You know, you just got to stay in there and keep thrashing at it. If you have problems at the first, you know, you still got a shot at it if you don't give up. If you can get your laps back, because usually on a short track they have several cautions, you know.
Well, he's made up one lap. It's tough going. He has come from a lap down, and now he's fighting for the lead. He has cleared that number 17. And there you have them once again. 3 cars battling for the lead as Bobby Allison is there batting on the door as well. Rambunctious group here at Richmond this afternoon. Racing out of turn number 4. Ruttman on the inside, rather into turn 2. In the number 15 car. Earnhardt in that 4 just hangs it in there, goes up on the outside. Look at this battle, 33 and 01, slugging it out. Further back, they're fighting for the 4th position at the present time. Back to the leaders again. Car number 98. On the outside, going into the corner, fighting his way up comes Earnhardt, wheel to wheel, and Earnhardt is going for the spot. It is Earnhardt into first. Dropping into second comes Bobby Allison. Back to third. Falls Ruttman.
Ruttman must be having some problems because they came down the front stretch and he just pulled down to the inside and let them go. He didn't try to fight them off.
4th spot is Harry Gant. He's about 15, 20 car lengths back from the leaders. Let's go quickly to Dave Despay.
We're with Buddy Parrott, crew chief on the Joe Rutt machine. Buddy, it looked like Joe might have let him go. Is there a problem with the car?
Well, right now, I'd like to tell Raymond Fox and all the guys in the engine room that it's definitely not the motor today. We're experiencing brake problems. It's a fresh team, a new driver, and we just need to put a few more brake ducts on old Joe's, I guess. But really, the car's been running good. We got brake problems. Actually, he's just got enough brakes to slow the car down in case of an accident or something right now.
What's he going to try to do from here to the finish?
Well, he's going to try to keep them in sight, but it's kind of hard to do because they're pulling away from him right now. But hopefully we'll get a long caution and we'll be able to cool the brakes back out.
So cooling the brakes is the issue for Joe Ruttman. The car's plenty fast, but it won't slow down, and you've got to be able to do that here in Richmond. Ken?
You've got to whoa them. 264 laps complete, 136 laps to go. They are showing 7 cars in the lead lap, and these 2 cars lead the way. Earnhardt in the 15 and the 22 of Allison. Allison approaching on the inside. Bobby Allison taking a shot at first place. Earnhardt fends him off.
It's going to be hard to pass on that inside now. It's, the groove's moved up high and the racetrack's awful slick down low, so but that's the only place Bobby has to try him, and he's giving it a good shot.
Now, sometimes they set a car up so it will work well down on the inside when it gets really slippery and greasy and all that oil and rubber's down there.
Well, you'd like for it to work well down low all the time, but as the racetrack gets worn and gets slick, there's nothing to do but move up.
7th place car, Buddy Baker, about to be lapped by the leader. Baker and the Wood brothers, number 21. Ford going a lap down as Earnhardt overcomes him going into the first turn. There you see part of the massive crowd out here at the Richmond Fairgrounds today, packed to capacity to see race number 2 on the $9 million plus Grand National Tour for 1983. Earnhardt still in front, Allison right there as he has been all day. Ruttman 3rd, Gant 4th, Bonnet 5th, Bodine 6th, Baker 7th, Lindley 8th at the present time. 6 cars in the lead lap. And here comes Bobby Allison another time on the bottom side, and the Dygard car is working very well where they're not supposed to work well.
Well, it's working good, Ken, but Earnhardt has that high lane, and he's got a better shot off the corner, which carries him down the straightaway quicker. Even though Bobby can earn him in the corner, he doesn't have the momentum down the straightaway that the 15 car does.
How much brake do you usually have left on these cars with the new braking systems that you now have on board?
Well, you could be completely out of brakes halfway the race if you really used them hard, but usually when the race is over, you pretty well used them up. I guess Ruttman's used his up pretty much already.
Richard Petty one time told me now it used to be his secret that he could drive so well without brakes. He said now with the new braking systems in cars, so many other drivers can stay up with you, whereas in the old days, you fellas, in 5 laps, your brakes were totally gone, and you learned to drive without them.
That's right.
We'll be back with more of the Richmond 400 live on Superstation W. Trying to win it for the first time. He's had 2 fourths, a 5th, and a 7th place, but he's never pulled it off. With the story of how he's done on this race, let's go to Joe Whitlock.
Ken, I just talked with Bud Moore, Dale Earnhardt's crew chief. The frown that was on his face a few laps ago has turned into a smile. Dale cut down a tire and lost a lap, went a lap behind, 1 lap down on the field. Remarkable positioning, good driving by the one they like to call one tough customer, and put him all the way back up into the lead. Bud Moore seems to think they can go on and win this thing if they don't have any mechanical problems. Back to the tower.
a toughie. A toughie indeed. Here's Bobby Allison trying to take a shot at him on the inside again. The old RPM level can stay right up on the outside, but the fast way around, if it's not too slick, is the short way around. Let's see how it works here in turn 2. Allison closing on the inside groove. Both cars a little loose off 2.
Yeah, but Allison just, you just don't have the momentum down the straightaway as you do when you run that high groove, and that's where Earnhardt's beating him right now, is down the straightaway.
So it stays with Earnhardt up in front. Allison takes another shot at the inside. Remember how those Richard Petty cars used to work late in the race? They seem to settle right into the goo and go right up through on the inside.
Well, this is true, but, you know, Richard had pretty well locks on them then, but right now everybody else's car does about the same thing. These, what Allison's doing now, you were asking a while ago about the tires. He's really using his tires up when he runs that low lane right now, so he would be better off to just stay behind Earnhardt and follow him right now.
Battle for third. There's 98 Rutland right down over the ripple strip on the inside as Harry Gant attacks. Remember that Rutland of the 98 is third, no longer. Give it to Harry Gant. No, give it back to Rutland. Rutland getting stung out there, and he comes back to life and tries to hold on to it as he realizes that Gant wants to take a shot at him. Harry Gant back on the outside, taking that wide line, and Rutland just hangs it right down below the white line in 1 and 2. Back comes Harry Gant another time, and Harry Gant is on his way to third place. It's been a thriller and exciting race all the way. Back with the leaders, 15 and 22. Nose to tail, lapping James Hilton back straightaway. Long time for Earnhardt in between wins these days. Boy, would he like to put it together this afternoon. Notice Allison still trying that low groove as they lap Kyle Petty and Buddy Arrington. A gorgeous afternoon here in Richmond, Virginia. Half-mile track. A week ago, 200-mile-an-hour drafts. The Daytona Speedway, its 25th anniversary. Today, it's another sellout crowd enjoying this great competitive sport of stock car racing with Dale Earnhardt leading Bobby Allison, fending off some lap cars and pulling into second place. With that 286-lap complete mark, getting down to it, 114 to go. I would imagine the last 100 laps on this arm and you're on this size track, and your arms must feel like you want to drive off the bottom of the steering wheel instead of the top.
Well, they sure do, Ken. About this time of the race, you're really starting to feel the fatigue set in. Your arms feel like they weigh about 200 pounds each.
5 caution flags thus far. There is Neil Bonnet. That's the 75 car running in the 5th position. Right in front of him, you see Butch Lindley. The 6th place is number 88, Bodine. 7th is Baker. 8th is that 01 car, which is the Butch Lindley car. In 9th, Bill Elliott. 10th overall is Tim Richmond, fighting his way back up. And next comes Richard Petty. Back to Dave Despain.
Bobby Allison's crew chief, Gary Nelson, tells us there may be a gambling game being played here. Gary, what's up?
Well, we stretched our stop as far as we could on our fuel, and it came out very close to the finish. It looks like we're going to have to come right down to the wire and to make a decision whether to try and make it on the gas we have or to stop with just a few laps left in the race.
Who makes that decision?
Well, on good days I do, on bad days. Anyway, we're really going to watch what our competition does, and that'll really help us decide.
Bobby's running very low on the racetrack. Earnhardt's running up high. Is that significant?
Well, Bobby's doing such a fantastic job. I think he's just found a groove that's the most comfortable. The track is slick, high and low. We're reading off the times to him, and he's trying to find the best groove.
Good luck. Gary Nelson says they may have to gamble on fuel for Bobby Allison, who's running for the lead.
Bobby Allison is about to take the lead. He goes down to the inside twice. He has stuck the nose of number 22 in there. Could not get through. Once again, Earnhardt fends him off. Again, Allison reels him in turn number 3. Battle for the lead. We have a car blowing up in turn number 3, spinning his lake speed. It's going to bring out a caution flag.
No caution.
No caution flag. It spins to the inside. The track is clear.
He
no
didn't blow,
caution.
he just spun.
Pardon?
He didn't blow, he just spun.
Leaders all packed up. Did Allison get through? That's the question here. In the car number 22. No, he stayed right there in that number 22 behind the 15. And here is Lake Speed coming in. There is no caution on the track. No caution as Lake Speed pits with a tire down. We'll be back with 400 this afternoon. And oh my heart, what a race up in front. Earnhardt is holding on to the lead as they lap last year's winner, Dave Marcus. Take a look at what happened just a moment ago as Lake Speed came down into turn number 3, driving the Haas Ellington car right behind the leaders. Had he been in front of them, he was a lap down. Looked like he cut a tire down, Cale Yarborough.
Well, it did. Something happened to him. I think he just went in too hard, Ken, and lost it because he's continued running and hasn't made a pit stop. So I really feel like he just got in a little over his head, trying to follow those leaders in there and got in trouble.
25 cars still on the track at this moment. And how he ever had a spin without taking somebody out is beyond me. There's your third place car, Harry Gant. Again lapping Kyle Petty. Third place car, Gant. He is running the lead lap. 5 cars shown in the lead lap. I can't remember when you've seen a half-mile race. I saw one in Martinsville like this a couple of years ago where they hung on to each other lap after lap. Harry Nelson looking anything but at ease out here as his car is running right there with Dale Earnhardt for the lead. His car is that white and red numeral number 22, the Bud Moore car, the yellow and blue car up in front. Now here's Allison taking another shot. These two have really had a war up in front.
I think maybe they may be worried more about having to stop again for fuel than passing right now, because I don't believe Earnhardt would have to stop. I believe he's pretty well set to go, and if Allison has to stop, that'll just put him out of contention.
You saying this thing might become an economy run, Cale?
It could be.
Cale, who's going to be tough in the national championship this year? You know, right now you're number 1, but you gave it up today. You're not running all the races. You've announced, as I'm sure every racing fan knows, you wanted to be home more with your family, but there's a lot of them out there plugging away trying to win that elusive crown. Who looks good to you?
Well, it looks like Bobby Allison's going to make another bid for it, and you know, he's had so many near wins. I think Bobby's going to make a good, hard, strong run for it this year. Of course, you can never count Walter out, and there are a lot of good race drivers that are going to run hard for the championship this year, but I believe Bobby's going to be your man most of the year.
You think he can win it so many years? He's almost like Lloyd Ruby at Indianapolis. He comes so close, but it was never quite to be.
Well, he's going to give it his best shot, I'm sure. He's had a lot of tough luck late in the season for the past couple of years, but he's going to give it a good shot.
Now there you see Bud Moore. Bud Moore standing down there. That's the crew chief, and that car of his is being passed by Bobby Allison another time. Again, they're wheel to wheel, up on lap cars in front of them. Richard Brooks directly in front. Back comes Earnhardt on the outside. Dale Earnhardt, whose father, Ralph Earnhardt, was one of the... Did you ever run against his dad?
I sure did. Ralph Earnhardt was one of the best short track drivers that ever lived, I guess.
Well, his kid sure looks good today. The late Dale Earnhardt, who never won the national championship, but they'll tell you that on the outlaw dirt tracks right after World War II, he was unbeatable in the great style of his son and the late Bobby Isaac. Here they are out of turn number 4. Harry Nelson doesn't know where to look first. They're all over him everywhere. Lap cars everywhere. There's Bud Moore getting a little itchy out there. Purple Heart winner from the European campaign in World War II. Tough old guy. Builds great racing cars. And I'm about to get beaten up if he finds out I called him old. Here they come out of the... They bunch them up. Bouchard down on the inside and almost no place for Earnhardt to go. The Earnhardt car is really working to run that far out of the marbles and not break away.
It sure is. That car's got to be sticking good to get that far up.
But Allison is right there. Unrelenting, just staying there. And again, the inside as a whole, but there's a lap car, Buddy Arrington in front of him. Allison, who has won 73 Grand National races. Only 2 drivers have ever won more. Richard Petty at 195, and the man to my right, the great Cale Yarborough, who has now won 75. And I left out one, of course, David Pearson, 105. Back out of turn number 4. Back to the inside another time. Nelson watching that 22. There's the Bodine car, the 88 now about to be overlapped. And that 88 car is being shown on the tail end of the lead lap in the 6th position. The 6th position is car number 88, Bodine. Then comes Ruttman in 5th. The 4th spot is Bonnet, Gant, and we'll be back in a moment. 400 today, and the battle is right on the nose. It is Dale Earnhardt in front, Bobby Allison in second. They are separated by 1 car length, and that car length at the moment is filled by Jeff Bodine in the 88. Back in 3rd is Harry Gant, 4th is Neil Bonnet, 5th is Bodine, 6th is Bill Elliott, 7th is Richard Petty in a real squabble at the present time with Butch Lindley in 8th, and running in the 9th spot is Ron Bouchard with Lake Speed in 10th. Now there's that 01 right behind him. Falling back a bit now is the Richard Petty car. Petty had been right behind the 01 just a lap ago, but as you see, that's not to be.
They just put another lap on Richard Petty a few laps ago, kid. So his car is really not up to par today. And Petty's coming into pit road.
Richard Petty pulling into the pits. His 900th career race. Richard Petty all scarred up. Battle fatigued. Car number 43 comes to a halt. Quick pit stop. Clock is on. Let's go down to the pits right now for this report.
We're the pits with Bud Moore, you see, deployed against the wall. New left side tires. That answers a key question. Can the leader go the distance? Bud Moore says no. We're going to have to bring Dale Earnhardt in and put new left side rubber on the car. In the next pit, Gary Nelson still hasn't made a decision whether he'll pit Bobby Allison for fuel. Back to you, Ken.
Richard Petty electing to take on 4 tires. He's having some transmission problems. They've had to push him out each time. Do so again here. This will drop him back to at least 11th position in the overall standings. It leaves Lindley running in 7th. It moves up into the 8th spot, Bill Elliott, to 9th, Ron Bouchard, and up to 10th, Buddy Baker, shown as 2 laps down. Just no breathing room between those leaders. Earnhardt in 1st. 2nd spot still is number 22, Allison. They are using up the high groove all the way around the outside. Gant maintaining 3rd, Bonnet 4th. If it was yours to do, who would you pick here?
Well, I don't know. Bobby Allison's car is getting a little bit loose now as it comes off turn 4. But, you know, if he's only got to stop for fuel and Earnhardt's got to stop for tires, Bobby will have it. He'll be home free because I don't believe Bobby plans to change tires on that last stop.
Can't make it up. Be a tough one. Now there he is, Allison down the inside another time. This coming to lap 324. Allison inside, Earnhardt outside. It has been this kind of a race all day. It is this kind of a race almost every time they go to the line, and this the most competitive automobile racing in the world. Outside, Earnhardt back in front another time. Allison wobbling a bit, gathers it up, and streaks down into turn number 3. I mean, your arms must be ready to fall off at this point, too.
Well, they sure are, especially if you're in a contest like this where it's lap after lap after lap. You know, you have no time to rest whatsoever, so they're giving it their all. And, you know, Ken, it's not only a physical strain. They're under a tremendous mental strain out there. Racetrack slick. They got to keep their mind on what they're doing 100% of the time.
Ever give you a headache?
Oh, yeah. Had many headaches.
Dale Earnhardt trying for his 8th career win. There he is in front. Richard Petty has gone a lap down, but he has new tires on all the way around, and he is with 4 new tires trying to make up some time. What a fighter he is. Into his 40s, 195 career wins, and he'll still tussle with anybody as long as he's on a racetrack. 900 starts in his career, won 10 in a row at one time, back in the 60s when the Petty's just about owned racing. Here's Dale Earnhardt staying with him. They know they have him a lap down. Dale likes that outside, and the 43 car working on the inside.
Rich has got on 4 fresh tires, so he can run that inside lane, so he's making up a lot of time now.
4 cars remain in the lead lap. Earnhardt and Allison. Then about a second and a half, 2 seconds back, it is the number 33 of Harry Gant, and the 4th position is Neil Bonnet. Those are the front 4. A lap down in 5th is Bodine. 6 is Elliott. Into 7th is Bouchard. And showing 8th, Lake Speed, even after spinning. 9th, Richard Petty. There they are, side by side, another time as the war continues at Richmond between Dale Earnhardt and Bobby Allison. Back after 400, and the leader is Petty. Let's go down to the pit road and follow Dale Earnhardt on this pit stop, rolling to a stop in front of Bud Moore. Car is being jacked. He had to come in for tires. Bobby Allison had just passed him. You're right there on pit road as they go to the left side of that car, Cale.
Yeah, he had to have left side tires. Now Bobby Allison just went by, is going to put him a lap down.
So Dale Earnhardt, who has been winging it all afternoon, fought his way from a lap down once, is going to have to do it again. And there aren't that many laps left.
Now he's going to have a pretty tough road to hoe from here on out if he catches Allison now.
Well, Allison is a previous winner here in Richmond, as he is on almost every track there is on the Grand National Tour. And it looks like he is, for the moment, as secure as one can be, going 90 miles an hour, where every lap has to be perfect or as close to perfection as you can make it, with people slamming on your bumpers, rippling up the sides of your automobile, leaving those tire scars. Gary Nelson checking the clock to make sure they are right on time, that those laps stay the same. And that's one thing about Allison. He drives very meticulous laps. You can turn him on like a clock, lap after lap, like you can.
Well, Bobby is real good, not only on short track, but super speedways. He's very consistent. He can run every lap just about the same speed.
Late report from Miami, Florida. That race there, still red flag with torrential rains after 24 laps, with Al Holbert leading. And we would remind you that Motor Week Illustrated will bring you the highlights next Saturday afternoon, 5:35 to 6:05. Back to Dave Despain.
We're in the pits with the Bobby Allison crew chief, Gary Nelson. He's been taken away for a radio conversation with the race leader now. The issue, of course, is whether this changes the strategy. The Bud Moore team has just pitted Dale Earnhardt right alongside. We want to find out if Gary is going to change that strategy. Gary Nelson, does the Bud Moore pit stop change your strategy now? Are you going to bring Bobby in?
I'm trying to decide right now. We've got a watch on him. They changed left side tires. That was a little bit of a surprise. We're going to decide the next few laps what we're going to do.
The decision still not made by crew chief Gary Nelson whether or not Bobby Allison will come in. He's going to be very short on fuel at the end of this race, Ken.
It may have been that Earnhardt chewed up a tire. We saw him dance over the ripple strip on the inside of turn 2 when Bobby Allison passed him for the lead. And it looked then as if something might have been amiss on that tire. And sure enough, in a couple of laps he was in, and it wasn't right side rubber, but left front, which they went for. Now there is Earnhardt, your leader, and will give you the interval between the front running car and Harry Gant, the second place car. Half a lap. Half a lap down is Gant in 33. Hal Needham, Burt Reynolds' car to this, the Bud Moore, number 15. Now there's Bobby Allison trucking through, making up time. He's running right up there, just so smoothly, so beautiful. He has the man down. 22, Bobby Allison is your leader, and 15 is trying to make back his lap. In case I misled you for a moment, Allison is most definitely the man out in front. That pit stop for the tire has put Earnhardt in the unenviable position of having to make up a lap late in the going. He's got to move around Allison unless Allison elects to pit.
Ken, evidently Earnhardt got a tire change behind everybody else. I don't think he changed his left side tires the last time, and he had to change them because right side tires are really what you need if you want to run fast during the latter part of the races. But I just think his left side tires were gone, and he had to change them.
The leader, Bobby Allison, 15, running back in 4th place. And there is Harry Gant putting a lap on Ronnie Thomas, or trying to. What a story in that 41 Ronnie Thomas. Went and borrowed $100,000 from a banker. He crashes the car. It'll be 20 years paying it off. Brave little driver and a brave banker.
Very brave banker.
He wanted to get back in racing, and he's put together a first-class team, and he's running pretty well today. Running 17th. field continuing to move here at Richmond. We asked Bobby Allison, what do you have to do to have success out here at the Richmond Fairgrounds?
Well, what this track calls for is an awful lot of handling, but you have to run good too. We have a good combination with our setup. Gary has always been able to really respond to my requests on the handling, and the way I like the car to drive, they can adjust that thing up quickly for me.
Well, they've certainly got that car adjusted up right now, and there is Earnhardt still trying to make back the lap. But Bobby Allison is command. Harry Gant is in second. Neil Bonnet is in third. Dale Earnhardt on the tail end of the 24. You are watching Bobby Allison, Hueytown, Alabama, injured at Daytona just days ago, driving a remarkable race in one of the Dygaard team cars. 8 automobiles in that stable. In 2 days, he demolished 2 of them at $80,000 a copy. But car number 3, the short track car, really looking good. Now number 33. Harry Gant is your second place car. That is the third. Actually, they brought a third car to Daytona, a long track car. This would be like car number 4 in their stable, their short track machine that is leading. And here is the second place car, what they call the short track car from the Travis Carter stable. The Hal Needham, Burt Reynolds team. There you see the old Bandit right on the lid. Number 22, slamming down into that corner at 90 miles an hour. Every time just right, just being so careful about those brakes, watching those gauges, watching the competition fore and aft. Because one moment's miscalculation here could cost him the lion's share, about $40,000 of the $200,000 purse today overall. Now there's number 75, Neil Bonnet, running third. He still has a crack at this. The issue is, will number 22 pit one more time, Cale Yarborough?
I think he's going to have to pit, Ken, but whether they change tires or not, I just don't know. I feel like that they're pretty well set on tires if everything keeps going like they're going.
Let me review a little further back in the field as you watch Neil Bonnet. The 6th position at the present time is that number 9 of Bill Elliott. 7th is Joe Ruttman. Ruttman has fallen to 7th. 8th is Marcus. 9th is Bouchard. And running 10th overall is Butch Lindley. 11th is Richard Petty. The 12th position is Kyle Petty, who's come way up from 30th. The 13th position is Richard Brooks, and the 14th position is Buddy Baker, and that's what scoring is giving us at the present time. There's the 4th place car. That's number 15, Earnhardt. Let me review attrition for you for a moment. These cars have fallen out of the race. David Dion, Morgan Shepherd, Tommy Gale, Ricky Rudd, Darrell Waltrip, Slick Johnson have fallen by the wayside. And I believe the latest back on the track is Bouchard. Bouchard has not retired. So there's only 6 cars out of this race. That is just remarkable.
That is remarkable, Ken. The racetrack is still full of race cars. I know in the past year I've been down here and finished the race and with only 10, 12 cars running, but this is just a credit to the kind of equipment that we have racing now.
Well, this crowd estimated at over 15,000 sellout. Really getting to see some exciting competition as Allison and Earnhardt waged as good a battle as you could hope to see. Right now it is Allison's race to win, but it's all up to what they say on the radio as to calculating, do they take the gamble or not? Let's go to Dave Despain.
We're with Gary Nelson. Gary, you tell me you have made a decision. You have made a decision to pit the car. Is that correct?
I didn't.
You have made a decision to pit the car. Is that correct?
We're going to have to stop at least for fuel. We're about 15 seconds ahead of second place right now, so we're going to keep an eye on him. I think we can go up to around 20 laps from the end and just put in a little fuel. We ought to be okay.
Are you going to make any gambles on tires, or will you let Gant's strategy determine that?
Well, you always gamble. It looks to me like a little fuel would do it for us.
Looks like it's going to be a fuel stop only for the leader. Gary Nelson says he will bring Bobby Allison in. Harry Gant could get a shot. Ken?
It is down to a Saturday night short track shootout. 35 laps to go. It is a sprint to the finish. You have to gamble, and Bobby Allison will have to take that gamble, and it could come in the next 10 or 15 laps. Live, the Superstation from WTBS. You are watching the Richmond 400 this afternoon. Coming in and say good night the added suspense of finding out whether or not the leader has to make one more stop. Gary Nelson says there will be one more time on pit road for number 22. Lying 15 seconds back is Harry Gant. He is expected to make one more stop, but in third place in the same lap is Neil Bonnet, and the word is he can go home from where he is. So Neil Bonnet looking very strong as we get down to the end of this one, Cale Yarborough.
I don't think you should rule out Earnhardt. He's moving up again. He's closing in on Harry Gant, and that's going to be a shootout there at the end.
Earnhardt third overall, and he has made that pit stop. He doesn't need to come in again either.
Well, he won't have to stop again, and you know, if he keeps getting away from Allison as much as he is right now, he could catch Allison if he just makes a gas stop.
There you saw Butch Lindley just getting under. He had new tires on that car. Now there's Gant in the 33. 2 times the Grand National winner. National 500, Charlotte, North Carolina, last fall, and he also won at Martinsville for this team. Finished well up in the national standings. There's the leader, Bobby Allison. We're staying with him as we await the decision as to what to do on fuels and tires on car number 22. Fuel and tires the issue here.
Well, there's still a lot of ifs left here, Ken, and you know, it gets right down to it ain't over till it's over. So
and there's one in capital letters, car number 15. That is the third place car. 4 cars in the lead lap. He's got a real shot at it. Back in turn 3. 22 laps to go for car 22, and they say that in 2 more laps we may see some activity as the nest of Bobby Allison on pit road begins to bustle with activity. Second spot Gant, third spot Earnhardt, fourth spot Bonnet, fifth Allison, sixth is that Butch Elliott in the 01 that you just saw getting a lap back from Bobby Allison. Seventh Bodine, falling to 8th is Joe Ruttman, 9th is Marcus, 10th is Lake Speed, 11th is Petty Richard, 12th is Petty Kyle, with 13th Richard Brooks. Now there's Buddy Baker getting a lap back, and the tires have gone 22 skidoo on car of Bobby Allison. And there's 44 taking a lap back. Meanwhile, 33 and 15 begin to battle. There you see the 33 in the second spot, and the 15 of Earnhardt is right there looking as the laps run down. Coming up Sunday, March 13th, live, the 42nd annual Daytona 200 Motorcycle Classic. You'll see it live here on Superstation WTBS, as well as the exciting Daytona Motocross and the Superbike Production Race Series. That's all on Sunday, March 13th. We'll take you two-wheel racing on Superstation WTBS. Live from Daytona Beach, the 200, and recorded versions of the motocross and the production bike race. Well, now, how about it? Are they ready on pit road for Bobby Allison? Indeed they are. Standing at parade rest, his entire crew. He elects not to come in this time. He's trying to stay out there a little longer. 382 laps complete. There's the battle for second place. Earnhardt is on the inside. Gant is on the outside. The yellow and blue car, the Ford of Dale Earnhardt, moves in on number 33, Harry Gant in the Buick. Down they go into turn number 1. Mark Martin wants to skirmish. He has fresh rubber. And the youngster out of New Albany, Indiana, goes in between those two. Mark Martin running outside the top 10. But every position counts when they add it up toward the national championship at the end of the year. Gant willing to use Mark Martin as a foil here against Dale Earnhardt, but now the foil goes by him. Like those lap cars sometimes, don't you, Cale?
Yeah, you can use them to your advantage sometime, and Martin's got fresh tires on. He can run that low groove, and he's doing a good job down in there, but he really should back off and let the second and third place car go.
There's the reception committee for the Bobby Allison team, and he is on pit road. The leader is in. Leader is in. You're following him down. Pit crew ready. They're going to take on fuel. Looking at tires. Let's go to Dave Despain.
There was a problem on that pit stop. They did not get the fuel filler quickly into the rear fender filler cap. They lost a couple of precious seconds on that fuel stop. A splash of gas is what Bobby Allison got, and he's back underway.
The mystery of it all. Allison not getting perhaps enough fuel to bring him home. A foil pit stop for car number 22. As Allison comes around, those tires, as you saw, not working as they were earlier. And all in the same straightaway now. 15, Earnhardt has gone by Harry Gamble. He was on pit road. A tremendous bundle of lap cars running just in front of the second place man, number 15. Here's Earnhardt crashing his way up through, trying to find Bobby Allison as the laps run down.
Well, Allison's got a clear racetrack, and Earnhardt's causing traffic. It's going to be hard for him to get through and get to him, but I believe he's running a little quicker than Bobby is right now. If he could get out of that traffic, he could make a real race out of it.
Earnhardt trying to gather up some speed here and get around some lapped automobiles. There's the leader. Now watch Earnhardt as he attacks. There are about 7 lap cars between himself and the leader, Bobby Allison. That's where the story is. Now he has to actually lift out of the throttle. Lap cars all over, and there's no place to go. Marcus is in front. He finally finds a little bit of distance as he rim rides down off the corner at 2. Into the back straightaway, trying to find some running room, just any kind of a hole, inside, outside. Takes them off on the outside. Goes by McDuffie, pulls up on Dave Marcus, comes around Marcus on the outside. Meanwhile, Allison is across the start-finish line. What a break for Allison, this lap traffic working against Dale Earnhardt. There's the leader, Bobby Allison, and we'll try to show you an interval.
Earnhardt's got a pretty clear shot now if he gets by this one more car, and it's going to be right down to the wire where they catch him.
10 laps to go as we get down to the finish. 390 mark just goes up. Count goes down. Allison leading as they streak down the back straightaway. Will he have enough fuel to make it? Earnhardt, freshly shod, has enough fuel to go the distance. The question is number 22, Bobby Allison. The third place car remains Gant. Running in fourth, Neil Bonnet, about 20 car lengths back from Gant in third. 4 cars in your lead lap. Bobby Allison in front. Well, it's a no-win situation for Allison except to stand on it here, Cale.
Well, that's what he's got to do, and you know he's got about 9 laps to go, 8 laps to go, and all he's got to do is play it safe and don't make a mistake, and Bobby Allison usually does just that.
Earnhardt has unwound himself from around all that traffic, and with that unraveled, he has a clean shot. Clear sailing, but time is of the essence. Down to those last final laps. There you see them, first and second place car. Going down into one end, out of 2, car number 22, and they're both in the back straightaway, and Earnhardt is making a tremendous charge, considerably faster than the leader, but they are separated by about 25 to 30 car lengths. There is number 15, Earnhardt, swinging to the outside around James Hilton, charging down into turn number 1, making up time. Allison way high on the track, coming out of turn number 2. Earnhardt trying to gather it in, close ground. But it is Allison's race, seemingly to win, unless mechanical gremlins or fuel or tires don't by now about 15 car lengths. And still, Earnhardt comes in. 3 laps to go this time. Down into turn number 1, 22 the leader. The 15 is there. Bobby Allison seemed to get a little breath that time. Able to hold that lead and sustain it, pick up a couple of car lengths. But back in turn 3, it's all Earnhardt crowding in. Flagman Harold Kinder gives him a 2-lap marker. Allison still there. Here comes Earnhardt. There's your leader. Down that back straightaway, white flag this time. Closing as he gets down to the inside is Earnhardt.
He's just going to run out of time, Ken. He's really
there is Earnhardt in your picture. White flag is out. There is 1 to go. And Dale Earnhardt closes up to within 5 car lengths at the finish here in Richmond. Back straightaway. There's Bobby Allison in front. Here's Earnhardt. 1 last stab. Digs deep, charges. Here they come on a turn 4. Earnhardt is coming to the inside. He's 4 car lengths back. Allison takes the checkered flag.
The third place car is on pit road. It's not going to finish.
Harry Gant staggers onto pit road at the end of the event, and number 75 comes across. Dale Earnhardt up congratulating Bobby Allison on his 74th career win. Oh my heart, what a finish.
That was a good finish. Earnhardt just ran out of time. He was really coming strong.
One more lap. Oh, but for one more lap is what Bud Moore and Dale Earnhardt are saying as Bobby Allison says, which way to victory lane here at the Richmond.
Victories come from great battles, and Bobby, you were in one all day, weren't you?
Boy, I'll tell you, those guys run so good. Earnhardt, you know, he had some bad breaks, but boy, he just runs so good. And Ruttman and just all of them, what a race here today.
Were you in on the decision whether to come in for fuel, or were you at the mercy of your crew there?
Well, I leave that up to Gary. I try to steer the thing and work the gas and the brake pedal, and he tells me when it's time for gas and tires.
It was a good decision, wasn't it?
It really was. It worked out perfect.
Looked like they might have had a miscue. They had a little problem getting the fuel in. Were you aware of that? Did you doubt for a moment that you had the fuel to go the distance?
Now, well, what happened is my foot slipped off the brake and the car rolled on them. But I knew that they could respond. The old DiGard crew, you can't beat them.
Race long out there. It was just a spectacular battle. There really wasn't much strategy to this one. It was a typical Saturday night short track brawl for you, wasn't it?
It sure was. Gary just got on there and said, well, go fast as you can. Go ahead and stand on it. Looks like we got to race them.
It started out as the story of Richard Petty's 900th start, but it becomes another Bobby Allison victory, and I know it's got to be a real satisfying one for you after a tough Daytona.
Well, really, we did everything wrong at Daytona. I crashed in the Busch Clash. I crashed in the practice the next morning with our other car. Gary and the guys had to work all night, every night, and we had to run our short track car down there. But they built this brand new Monte Carlo SS for here, and really, they just haven't quit working. They went home, and you know, I was feeling a little sorry for myself and everything, and they just have kept me cheered up all the way. So, man, I can't say enough for Gary and Robert Yates, and of course, want to say hello to the folks back home, my mom and dad and my kids. Judy's here with me, but the rest of them are there at home, and of course Bonnie's in Charlotte, so I need to say hello to the whole family, but it's just been great for us. And Bill Gardner wasn't here today, so I know he's watching there in Connecticut on that good old TBS. So, Bill, the guys did it for you.
Bobby, congratulations to you. Bobby Allison brings home the gold in the Richmond 400. Ken?
A splendid victory for the Gardner brothers of Connecticut, who maintained the DiGard racing team, and for Bobby Allison, his 74th career win. And if there was one phrase that summed up the entire race, it was stand on it. We will talk with a man who nearly won it, Dale Earnhardt, the Bud Moore crew, in just a moment as we bring you more live coverage from Richmond, Virginia on the Superstation. Dale Earnhardt. There you see the Earnhardt crew gathered around, back with the others that get marked as losers. That's one of the toughest parts of this sport. Can be one winner, and there has to be 31 losers here today. Joe Whitlock is standing by to talk with him after we take a look at that last lap. You talk about the camaraderie and the esprit de corps of this. This was when the race ended. When the race was over, the first man to congratulate Bobby Allison, give him the okay sign, Dale Earnhardt, who had just been whipped by him. So Bobby Allison won it. Dale Earnhardt finishes in second place. And let's now go down to Joe Whitlock, who is standing by with Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt, that was quite a run today. I'm telling you, they call you the tough customer. You seem to be fighting your way back all day long. Do you know how many pit stops you made?
No, but I know how many flat tires we had. We had 2 flat tires, and that's 2 unscheduled pit stops, really. And you know, we got 2 laps down, one at different times, and we had to fight and make them back. And you know, it was just a tough race. We just run out of time there. I feel like I could have beat Bobby if, you know, I just could have caught him. But had a little bit of traffic got in the way there, about 10 or 15 laps to go, and it slowed us down a little.